Hello? What's up?
Hey, Carl, what's up?
All right, welcome to Bombhole Group Chat, episode number 4, presented by Pub Beer, and of course, Run Through a Wall Smelling Salts. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, the concept is to be a hub for discussion for current snowboarding topics. We're going to talk videos, contests. We'll talk to riders, wax techs, industry people addressing the current state of snowboarding, our sport industry, etc. Most of our topics are submitted by you guys, our Patreon members, via Instagram. I got to give a huge shout out to our sponsors this episode that came on: Pub Beer, Woodward, Bubs, Sunbun, Union, Ikon, Capita, Oakley, Hippeas, Nitro, and Element. In studio, our hosts today are Jesse Burtner, Katie Kennedy, and Louie Vito. How we doing, people? What's going on?
I'm excited for this.
Louie, what's happening? How are we feeling?
I'm feeling good. Just waiting for the snow slowly starting to fall. Got some legends in the building, so couldn't be happier.
The chain is thick.
Always.
Yeah, for the people listening that can't hear, Louie's got some floss on. He's got a nice chain. He's got some earrings. He's looking slick.
He's
Got
looking.
a little baby one too.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He's got. I
Pull
believe
that
they call
thing
it
out.
drip. Does they call it drip?
I believe that's drip.
Yeah.
The kids are
old
calling
man
it drip.
Italian style there, you know.
So for the listeners that don't know, Louie's a pro snowboarder, Olympian, Dancing with the Stars alumni. Great. He's got a great resume. And then to my left, we got Katie Kennedy, who is director of digital media at Slush and also a pro snowboarder, kind of a double threat, and also an ex-recruiter as well.
Triple threat.
The many lives, and this is my first time here, so thanks for having me. Excited to test out this thing, podcast thing. One thing I haven't done yet, I guess, is podcasts.
Put it on the resume. And then we got Jesse Burtner to my right. How we doing, Burtner?
I'm good. I'm back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Jesse, what did you host? Yoshida's?
Yes, I think that was his name.
Yeah, and you've also had an episode, so you're a regular in the booth.
I'm a regular now, yeah.
And you,
Fun.
for the people that don't know, snowboarder as well as LibTech.
Mervyn Manufacturing Marketing Director.
Okay, amazing.
And legend.
And also creator of Think Tank.
Yes,
Sick.
Co-creator, and many other things.
Yep.
We'll talk about all that stuff. And then, of course, the most important person in here, we got Silk D on the boards.
Wow.
Woo.
Thank
Yeah.
We also have a dog that resembles Silk D. We found his spirit animal. We'll put it on the screen.
you. Yep. There it is.
There it is.
That's pretty much an exact likeness of Silk.
Thank you.
All right, right off the gate, Burtner, where do you think we should start with?
Let's just do a quick hot take on forward lean, because we were just sitting out here looking at my rig, and you commented I have forward lean. Oh, it's actually kind of cranked up right now, but yeah, let's. This is sort of a quick just check in, maybe like a kind of a mental health check in.
Yep. What's yours?
Just a little bit.
1 click, 2 clicks, 3 clicks.
Well, it's 4 clicks on these bindings, the bent metal bindings, and I go with 1 unless I'm hitting a jump or something. Then I go with 2.
Okay.
But yeah, I still like forward lean. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that just grew up without it, so maybe you're one of them.
I got a weird setup for the jibs. I take it off if I got a jib specific board, because I feel like my theory is front boarding through kinks and stuff, like it could catch my heel edge. But like park board, backcountry board, 1 or 2 clicks. What about you, Katie?
Well, thanks to the bent metal little square, I grew up not knowing what forward lean was. And just recently, I've just been messing around with it. And yeah, powder riding, I'll click them up maybe to 2. But jibbing, yeah, one time I hit a street spot and I'll blame it on forward lean, but was all over the place. And
That's what it was.
it was that, yeah. It wasn't anything else. And yeah, took some pretty big slams. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on 4 clicks. I feel like I'm in a bank slalom right now. So yeah, it is nice, the little squares, because I could be like, oh, I'll try this out for a run. And then when I did the bank slalom, I did forward lean, and at least the photos of me doing the turns looked way better.
Looked fast.
I looked way faster.
Louie,
But
I know
this
you
is-
got them cranked
This is
up.
who we need to hear
I always
from.
got forward lean. I think spending a lot of time growing up on the East Coast, it was a way of life. You have to have forward lean. I think I'm on 3 or 4 on the bindings that I have, just swivel them, spin them. I've tried everything though, like going front foot more, back foot more, and all that. But I just keep it consistent. And you know, on my jib setup, I just run the same bindings. But maybe that's because I don't turn sideways too much. So we're
Yeah,
good.
I mean, but why would you go backwards through a kink? That's a bigger question, you know? I mean,
Feels good.
Cool,
It feels good.
but why?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You gotta
Just
love
full
going.
Malmy slide?
You
or what are we
gotta
talking
no. You
here?
gotta look over the shoulder. You can't just dive in blind. That's
I
just
dive in
no
blind.
regard for safety there.
That's just part of, you know, you just wave goodbye to your friends.
Jesus, take the wheel moment.
just take the wheel. I am front boarding a street feature.
It is funny how snowboarding has evolved. Like it used to just be like, do the trick and survive, and it's a clip. And now it's very refined, you know?
Well, I have a question though. Speaking of, street setups, do you fresh out the wrapper, detune and file them down, or bevel them? Because not that I hit a lot of rails, but I've gone on some rail trips. I started beveling them, but just with a glove underneath it on the base, because Shane Flood told me if you tilt it up, you can still get an edge on a run. But then if you catch your edge on that, then it's your own fault because it's beveled up and you deserve to catch your edge. But I always wondered because
Explain the
rail
glove.
dogs.
Explain the glove.
So I take a glove, a mitten, fold it, which is what I do. Put the file, this is on the base, right? Put the file down and just, and then maybe take a gummy stone, diamond stone, or the file and just real lightly to get rid of some of the burrs. So it's there, but it's tilted up a bit.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So you run it just
You detune? You detune?
I do.
Yeah.
But
like the full thing?
I love that you got tech from Shane Flood, and I would say absolutely forever keep doing that.
Love Flood.
Like,
they told me that.
I have to touch my edges with something before I jump sideways on any surface. It's just part superstition. But like I was talking about, used to come to Utah and hang out with Cooley and just get ready for the season in Salt Lake, spend a few days down here. And he taught me everything about that. And we used to just get them down to like ropes, you know?
Yeah.
So not good though when you took it onto a mountain.
No.
If it's icy, you're not turning well. We'll say that.
Yeah. I don't want to continually plug my rig, but that's what's so rad about magnet traction.
Nice one. Now you can expense the trip, Burtner. That's good. So one other thing to think about too, I forgot to mention earlier, is we're going to be taking a call from Zeb Powell in a little bit. We're also going to be taking a call from Ryan Mcdermott. So we're talking about tuning edges. He is the wax tech, board tech for all of the best snowboarders in the world. If you look at any podium at a contest, chances are 2 out of 3 riders, maybe 3 out of 3, were tuned by Mcdermott. He's the common denominator if it's slow. So he'll be really interesting to talk to about all this stuff. And then maybe Todd Richards if we have time. He's on the cusp. And then I had a call with Peter Line a while ago talking back rodeos. So we'll drop that in later in the show as well. So we got a bunch of other fun stuff later down in the show. But yeah, going back to edges, you know, I think on a jump board, I might just keep them in, you know, keep them sharp. But I like to take a little bite off on my park board, just that initial bite. You know where they just kind of zing wherever they want. I just take a little bite off.
Yeah, I mean, you could do the contact points though, right?
That's
contact
the
points.
biggest thing.
For the jump board.
Sometimes I'll take a little bite. Sometimes I'll just take it right out of the plastic.
Because like that, like high speed, like Ripley run in, we just slipped it.
Yep.
And now the temperature went up a little bit. Dude,
I
you
feel
want
like
to
it
take
wants to
those contact
throw me
points?
sideways.
Yeah,
and I don't
take
do the
those
tip and tail of it. Just whoo, whoo.
I would say everyone out there, take your contact.
Did you hear
dull
Blue?
them down.
Did you hear Blue's podcast? He got so mad about that.
Really? Okay, well, he might know more than me, but
I do think for people that don't know, snowboards do come with a slight bevel, right?
yeah.
There's like some are 2 degree and 1 degree and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
I don't really think about it too much.
That's another option.
hollow
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
Don't buy into the madness, and you'll probably
But
find.
I feel like if I just ride it a couple times, usually it kind of wears off on the places that I want it to wear off on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've like definitely slapped the gummy stone across it a bunch of times, but I don't even know if that maybe that's just a mental thing too. But yeah, definitely caught edges on trees and stuff. Maybe should have taken them off before that scorp.
I mean, you had Bobby Meeks on here. I don't know if he mentioned it, but he was always just razor sharp. Like because he was still hitting rails and stuff when we started really getting into it, and it was known that he would ride them razor sharp.
Yeah, same with Louie.
Really?
Louie, right
I
out
did not know
of the
that.
plastic. Yeah.
And maybe Brian Thien. Am I making that up? But
A little fun fact: what stance is Brian Thien?
regular foot.
Okay, if any rider that comes up, we can ask Burtner the stance. He will know.
The best is the way he says it too, like you idiot.
Yeah.
Regular.
Are you happy? When
What
he's
stance
gonna-
is Louie?
Goofy foot?
What
What stance does he skate?
Regular foot.
Boom! Yes.
Really? He's
This is
like
a
you.
hat trick.
Wait,
dude.
Louie?
No.
Louie.
Oh, I do the same.
No,
No, I know. We have an actual hat trick here.
Four packs.
We have a
Yeah.
4-pack here.
So you skate goofy.
Snowboard regular.
We're on the same team.
We're on the same team.
There we go.
Okay, so Katie and I are a team, the elite team. Silk's on an island because I think he's regular.
Yeah, I'm just
yeah.
regular.
Boring.
Like a regular.
Yeah. Silk, you're dead to us.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah, I
Silk,
know
I
the
got
best
something for you.
people. I know the best people do that.
Wrong answer, Silk.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Some of the most tech rail riders, I'm like, oh, they skate the opposite way. Maybe that's going to help me. And I'm like, not really.
No, yeah, no.
But
I love that, though.
I do like, it's like fun. I don't.
I love when
notice.
people bring that up.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
Like,
Joe Sexton
You
does
must
the
be
same
sick
thing.
at skateboarding. It's like, nah, dude. This is all. And skaters are like, they're like blown away by snowboarding. You're like, what are you talking about, man? Like, you do that on your skateboard. It's like you should be able to get on this toy and just dominate.
Have you ever seen a skater though, like hit a box, and if it's not going right, they go to like I watched Terry Kennedy at Zoomies 100K hitting a box like board side, and used to just jumping off and bailing, but like having that instinct to jump off, but his feet are attached, and just like whoa, just eating crap just because his feet didn't come off the board.
Can't get away from it.
You could make like a Warren Miller highlight reel at Zoomies 100K of pro skaters like
Breaking
eating shit on.
collarbones.
Yeah. Like have Warren like that voice. I don't know if you guys even know who Warren Miller is, but
Of course.
yeah, of course. But he would be like skiing. It's so like they would show people coming off the lift just biffing like a whole section.
He's still making movies too.
Yeah, well, he's not, but they are.
The name is.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the goofy regular. So Katie and I snowboard regular, skate goofy. You guys snowboard goofy, skate regular. Let's talk about who we have on our teams.
Oh.
So you guys have Jed. So that's big.
Flex.
That's a bit of a flex.
I mean that's
take that.
Yeah, okay, let's move on.
we got
Can we go down? Where's that
we got,
graphic?
We got Nicholas Mueller. We got Ika Backstrom. I'm sorry. That's huge. We got UC Oxenden. Oh my God. That's a devastating
Those
blow.
are kinda-
That's a devastating
I could
blow.
say
Those are kind of
Hold
cool.
on. What does Mikkel? What is he?
Regular goofy.
Regular goofy.
That's another one for us, Katie. We're killing
Hey,
it.
Louie, have you heard of a guy named Travis Rice? I'm not sure if these guys have.
I'll be sitting on the bench on our team. Let me just tell you that right now.
I feel bad for the people that ride the same way all the time.
Yeah.
It sounds like if it was versus
Thoughts
not
and
that bad.
them.
Yeah.
I would say
Fine.
thoughts and prayers go out to them right
Yeah.
now.
The gray, featureless world.
Just a boring, non-ambidextrous snowboarder that only goes one way.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No creativity.
Non-ambidextrous, I should say. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and do some general house cleaning for bomb hole stuff. Now, I first want to say thank you so much to all of our Patreon members. We couldn't do this show without you, and we appreciate your support. Now, another way to show support for the bomb hole, if you do not want to become a Patreon member, is buying some merch. So this holiday, we got the Run Through a Wall holiday pack. So we got the brick. It's a 3-pack of smelling salts. You get 30 salts total. Comes in some nice, clean packaging. We look like a real legitimate brand. We also have a new autumn Run Through a Wall beanie with the brick pattern on it. It is a hitter. You're going to want to get these before they're gone. It also comes with some Run Through a Wall stickers. So if you want to get that, it's a perfect gift for the holidays, little stocking stuffer, if you will. We also got another autumn beanie that just dropped. It's called the Repeater. It's really clean. It's going to sell out quick. And then, of course, we got our token Mud Dogs hoodie. We had a t-shirt. It sold really well, so we just made it into a hoodie. So all that stuff's available now at bombhole.com. And we appreciate you guys for listening. Okay. All right, let's change subjects here. We're going to get into a question from our Patreon member, Nate Robertson. He says, it seems like this year alone, there have been more videos coming out than in recent years. None of them exceeding over 20 minutes, except for, I might add, Brown Cinema is
Which
much
isn't,
longer.
I might add, out yet.
That's a good point. In the past, crews would pull out full 45 to an hour videos. Why is it so hard for crews and brands to put together longer videos? It seems to me that longer form videos were able to stand the test of time longer than videos coming out recently. Burtner, you got a take.
Whew. Right to me, huh?
Hot take. Yeah, you're a token video.
I mean,
expert.
all I've been thinking about is videos. And so, like, there's a lot in that question. But I will say there's a metric shit ton of videos coming out right now.
What are we calling it?
I've been calling, well, there was that week that was Videopocalypse. That was right. The week leading up to Thanksgiving was psycho, dude. It was just like firing. I actually was texting Katie about it, just knowing that she's dealing with posting for Slush. And just like, you must be going crazy right now because I think it was 8 movies, big, pretty major movies. And that was just the surface. I'm sure there was more underneath, but like coming across the major media channels all in that 5-day window.
Yeah, Videopocalypse.
Videopocalypse, yeah.
How was that, Katie?
I feel like it's still going on, kind of. It was crazy. I mean, my inbox was insane. It's really hard to keep up. The appetite for someone sitting down for 45 minutes, I don't think is like as relevant as it, or as people don't do it as much. But would that take away from like everyone making 10-minute videos, 12-minute videos? Maybe, but everyone has a camera, so they can do it these days. As far as like the dropping of it goes, I wish people dropped them earlier, or spread them out, because it is a lot to intake from like me posting them and whoever has to consume them. If they're just at home, like being like, there's 5 videos I have to watch tonight, but it's really hard to keep up, and
they start losing their power.
Yeah, I think they lose their power a bit.
Do you like to spread them out, Chris?
You know what I do? I'm going to be totally honest with you. Sometimes I just scrub to the ender. I'm just like, who's got ender? I got to get the cliff notes on this thing.
Yeah.
That's what I've done on some videos. But, I do think there's an attention span these days, coming from our era of throwing a VHS or DVD in, you saddle up in front of the TV. Now you have TikTok, Instagram, you got a 5-second attention span. And so a 10-minute video seems more palatable for the attention span of the youth these days.
Yeah, I guess going off, I have a question because I'm in a predicament all the time where I have a cheat code. I like download the video to my computer and I watch it like speed times 3.
Wow, that is a cheat code.
I don't do it all the time, but if I'm like, I need to get a clip for this, yeah.
You're like Hermione Grangering all these videos? Like.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, I'm like spelling them, but so basically all these media companies are getting the same video and they are you post a clip from it, and those media outlets are basically being like, okay, I got to post the best clip or whatever to get the views and the shares and the likes, but does that take away from someone watching the part, like putting the ender clip on a reel because it's going to go crazy? Or do you post the teasers to get people to watch it? And I always find that is like a really tricky thing right now where it's like, do you leak the whole video? Do you like leak the whole video? It's
sort of out of control right now. Like we don't really know, like what to do with that. It's sort of, because it is the video. The point of the video is to be on Instagram a lot of times. And so having that like scrolling thing that the mag puts up, the media company, is the goal.
I will say, though, it does work because I see, let's say, like, We're Losers 2, I see that, like, Haldor McTwist Shifty clip, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go watch that. Like,
exactly,
the banger does bring you in.
Yep.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I would think that when you go to say, like, how well our video did, those stats of, like, the teaser of just like leaks of clips or not the full clip, like don't do as well. So, but if you're like, hey, this one post did really well to like lead up to it, that's like part of it. But I'm always like contradicting myself where I'm like, do I post this sick clip or do I post like something not as sick, but it won't get as much traction? So and that and then you're just competing with everybody else on like who pulls the sickest clip from the video.
I think if there's someone out there that was sitting on some serious fire that wanted to do it a little differently, they could change the paradigm with one great video that's just like, no, sneak attack, like in the right way, still across social media, and you have to go watch the full thing. I still think that that's special, and the right video done in the right way, you would still just be like, I gotta go watch this, you know, like, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of Videopocalypse, I think we should get into, you know, I just went through this morning on like what's at the top of the feed, and I know we're missing a bunch.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm just going to rifle through some here, and then we can sort
Let's
through it
do
after.
it.
So we got Short and Sweet that Red and Ben just dropped. Rated R, obviously timeless classic. Tour Gears Project. We got Get Buck with Sebe to Buck. Wild Game. We can get into that. The Michigan Crew, Breaking Free's got some bangers. 686 vid, obvious classic. We got Bone Crusher, Sage's Full Part, Man Boys Video, 4, Mike Liddell's single project. Then we got Impaler, Recycled Reality. There's some stuff to talk about there. We're Losers 2. Those are just like, and I know
Mountain.
Yeah, Mountain. Exactly. Yeah, that's just like
The Book of Moron.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I love that.
Was it great?
Yeah, I
I
love
like
it.
Casino.
Oh,
Casino.
How do I
That
not
was
even have
during-
Casino?
that
on
was
here?
during Videopocalypse.
Yeah, Casino. Like that's a major video. Good call. Yeah, I mean,
Good call, Louie.
yeah. So I have a couple notables that I want to get into. The first one I think that would be insane is at the end of the Impaler video, the Hardway Front 2 Charlie Folkert does. Have you seen that?
Of course, yeah.
Dude, that thing was unbelievable.
Lucy's claiming favorite street clip of the year or possibly ever.
Wow. Yep.
And he's like, I'll never know that guy's name because there's no name title.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Totally.
he's like, I don't need to.
yeah.
Best clip ever.
Well, it's one thing to hit a gap rail that's like 10 feet long and like, but to hit a huge gap rail and then have to slide like a full long distance after a Hardway Front 2 is a buck.
Dude, the gap gods are on fire this year.
Yeah, Latex Manch is a
Dude,
gap god.
Ride was like gap god video, dude. They were just like cranking the craziest gap tricks.
What about that Latex Mansion part?
Amazing. Yeah.
Louis, did you watch that?
I did.
What did you think of Jed's part, Louis?
You know, honestly, when I watch rail parts, like obviously there's the hammers, but then there's the ones that just look like fun spots. So like the ledge that he had, that was kind of like the gap, and then he landed back down on the ledge on the other side. Like that to me,
Like
I don't know if I could do it.
street,
But it
like
just
the
looks-
little side of the street spot.
Yeah, just in that, like it had
Yeah.
like, it curved up, and then he gapped over, and then it had like a landing, and then he rode out of it. Like that to me just looks so fun. And then I realized that if he's putting it in his video part, it's probably really freaking hard. And I'm like, yeah, I couldn't do that, but it looks sick. Like it made me hyped to go try to find something like that. I just wish he would put in like a half pipe clip because he is so good at snowboarding just in general. I mean,
Yeah.
he won the Canadian Open back in the day. Don't ever forget that. So I just wanted him to add some of his other snowboarding because he's so good outside of like street rails.
I love that about Spencer.
Yeah, same. Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think they might have dropped a ball, in my opinion, on the ride video in the fact that Jed had powder clips, but they put them in a separate section.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see his powder clips sprinkled into the video part. I think it would have helped the overall part, just seeing a switchback 5 or whatever sprinkled in there. That,
Maybe not a 60-40, but like a...
Yeah, maybe not a 60-40, but like a 90-10, 85-15.
Good ratio.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. What's your take on that, Burtner?
On the getting the power clips in the JIT. Yeah, I mean, just snowboarding. Throw it all in there. But however you want to bring it apart, bring it to life, your artistry, your edit, I'm there for it. But yeah, like Louis said, just love watching. And Pika said it too. She loves watching the vids with me. Just like, I like to see them snowboard. And then it's funny sometimes when you see the guys that are so used to just pointing straight and hitting the feature and then finishing when they're out in a backcountry or resort setting. It's like sometimes you're like, whoa, looks like a little bit of fish out of water scenario.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, totally.
But then they're still going to get the banger in the air. But like it's the moments between the air sometimes that are fun to see someone's personality come through on their board. So that's just little nitpicky things. But
All right, we're going to take a quick break and talk about one of our sponsors, Pub Beer. Now, if you're looking for some cheap fun and you're of age, check out Pub Beer. Their motto is cheap fun beer. So support a brand that supports the podcast and have a good time responsibly with some pub beer. All right, we're going to talk about Union. We got an exciting giveaway. We're giving away a pair of Union Forces. Now, if you're listening and you want some Union Forces, we got any size you want. We're going to pick a winner. Just comment on the thumbnail photo on Instagram for this episode of Group Chat. Comment why you could use a new pair of bindings. It could be funny. It could be creative. We'll pick a winner and we'll send you some bindings. A couple things about Union. I ride them. I trust them. I love them. I've always loved the way they look. The ratchets are buttery smooth. I ride the Union Force, and it's been in the collection for almost 20 years, and it's trusted by more professional snowboarders than any binding on the market. And you see Travis Rice out there. You see Jamie Anderson rocking it, the best in the biz, and it's good for top pros all the way down to beginners. We're talking Unions are great for all ability levels. So if you're interested in getting a pair, check out unionbindingcompany.com or your local snowboard shop. Another thing to talk about in regards to videos, I've noticed, they do longer run-in ride-outs. Like, back in the day, think tank, clip, 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 clip. Now you do see that. And then going back to Jed's part, I don't know if there's too many people that look as right on a snowboard as Jed. Like, when you watch him, he does that, like, back lip around the corner, and he comes in, and then he does, kind of like a switch nose press on the snow, but it just looks natural. It just looks like he's supposed to be on a snowboard. And I love that when you see those people that just look right on a snowboard.
Mike Little.
Yeah, good call.
Looks like when he's going towards the rail, it's like I have zero question that he's going to make it to the end. It's going to look amazing. It's like he has so much confidence in his riding that I just have total confidence in him, and it's fun to watch. Jed, obviously, is that.
Jed, you got Tommy. Jill's got that.
See, I think Dusty has that. Just because he's one of those people, too, that, like, even if he screws up, he'll still make it look dope. He'll still stomp it, and you're like, were you trying this? He's like, no, I totally clipped here or something. And it's just, when you watch him ride, he's another one, and you're just like, I just wish I could cruise on my snowboard like that, let alone not do the tricks.
He's got rad cruising.
Yeah.
Just watching him ride a groomer run, like, you're just like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to see that guy on a board.
Mm-hmm. Haley Langland comes to mind. She looks right on a snowboard. And then Red just looks right on a snowboard. Like, you can throw him off a jump. He can get bucked in any different direction and, like, squirm his way back to it. Okay, then, so that's short and sweet. Red's name just came up with that. Rated R, we kind of breezed over. Tour Gear has that project for Monster that just came out. That was really sick. Really good chicanes. Sebe de Buck. Did you guys see Get Buck yet? Have you guys watched that?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
I haven't seen Get Bucked.
Back 5, no grab, Chad's gap. Tell me you didn't like that. Like, that's...
He's really good.
I like the mid-video fashion shoot.
Oh, you're feeling that?
Yeah.
You're very Euro.
Yeah, I like the Antwerp section. That was my favorite section. No, I loved... Okay, he's amazing. I loved the back 7 hand drag in Japan.
Woo!
So to me, I think that's NBD for, like, looking for, like, a sort of creative trick. Like a Miller flip, but he does it on the pillow, but he goes back 7 melon and just lets the hand drag.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
For a tall guy, he makes it look good. And then we got Wild Game, Never Summer Crew, the Sam Klein, Clackamas County, drop, or as the French Canadians would call it, the drop rail. That thing was unbelievable.
Yeah, he can do seemingly anything out there in the streets.
Who else is doing?
Yeah.
None of us would do that.
Nobody would do that.
Do you know? There's nobody would do that. Like he's like a breezy Andy Finch. That's for you, Louie.
Yeah, both of them.
What stance are both of those?
Breezy's regular, Finch is goofy.
Nice one. I love that. Sam Klein?
Goofy.
Wow. Okay.
But that video was fun. It just looked like, I don't want to be positive about everything, guys, but I did find a lot of positivity in most of the videos we're talking about,
Yeah.
And like the Sam Klein, like that whole crew, they're just raw. It looks like what it was. It looks like a a small group of friends making their own video, and then like you add someone like him in the mix. That's such a wild card, so off Broadway as far as like cool guy snowboarding goes. I love those off Broadway takes, you know, like just like here you go, like this is psycho.
Well said. Yeah, well said. And then you got Iris Pham shuts it down with the ender. She'll be in. I feel like she'll be in contention for some type of awards for that
Rookie of
part.
the Year. Yeah, I'd say.
That
You
part.
heard it here first.
Wow. Yeah.
I have no pull in that. None at all. But yeah, when we say all these videos, it's like, no, what are the top contenders? Like footage of the year, movie of the year. Now we have two, like short form, long form,
Medium form.
and they're all dropping at the same time. So you're just meshing them all together in your head, and it's a lot to think about.
It's
and
the amount of content skateboarding drops
yeah,
crammed down into 3 months. I think just about. Imagine like how if you're tuned
Yeah.
into skating and you're on Thrasher and something comes out like every day, it feels crazy. I feel like ours is like that, but like squished down. Like it's nuts.
and it's also subjective too, because they all meet. All these videos are so different and so good. Everyone's so good at snowboarding these days. It's everyone that puts things out. They're always just like progressing the sport in whatever field they're doing it in. So it is a very subjective like thought process where you're like, who does have footage of the year? Maybe for someone it's this, but I mean, it is obviously voted by the people, but even coming up with the 5 top people is hard.
Let's talk ROTY picks. I'll get in there. I'll just get in there. I'll open up this can of worms.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like Latex Mansion, aka Jed, with that like timeless ender, he's got to be high in contention. It's the ender that we grew up on, the timeless ender, the one that shuts the video down. It's got the bangers. Obviously street heavy, so one could argue that. But in terms of street snowboarding, it's got to be, creme de la creme. And then when I think of female, Zoe is just been a dominant force. Powder. Park doesn't matter. And she goes to troll and rides with the dogs.
She's awesome.
Which is like, she doesn't put herself in that elite category of like being better than anybody. She's just like, so I don't know. Those are my 2 picks. They're pretty obvious, but Jill's name's obviously got to be in there.
Yeah, and then there is the footage of the year, which we do like, you could look at a Jed as maybe like putting out a video that resonates with people that like videos, and then it's rider. I think of like Travis Rice or Torgeir was like, more like holistic snowboarding, maybe rider of the year, or more accolades, I would say, like won this, done that. Like Zoe is hard to compete with for rider of the year. Like she wins everything, supposedly does some crazy clips that are coming out soon. So I like that we have footage of the year, because the riders that do stand out in that really put time into getting the clips. Like maybe they're not traveling to all the contests because they're chasing the snow to like find something creative. So I'm happy that they have that category.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, I got a question for you video connoisseurs. For Casino, that was really one of the few I feel like you see nowadays that has kind of the storyline. I see Resistance, one of my all-time favorites, all the Grenade movies. Do you guys like that, or is that like, just get me to the riding, I don't care about the quote-unquote acting part of it?
I love it,
I like it too.
but I wouldn't have done it that way, but it's not my movie. But I love it.
I was just wondering, you said you didn't want to be positive on everything, so I wanted to get your opinion.
Yeah,
on it.
no, I mean, I like would, I would have, why not do it more like a Grenade thing and spread it out? But throughout the movie and make it a cohesive, make it the movie.
Oh, you're saying the intro skits being cohesive, not just the intro of the movie. Like every part has an intro. I like that too.
I get it. They, like, okay, we did this, now we do that. But it was so separate. For me as a filmmaker, I would not have done it that way. That's the way they did it. Respect. They made it, they did a beautiful job on that skit, obviously. Like filming and just everything. And everyone was there, so it was rad, like it was rad when Mickle's in the trunk and you get to see Sage. It's just rad to see everyone in one place, which is really special for a big crew movie like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sage looks insane in that intro. Ridiculous. But I think that, my take on that would be, I love the intros. I love the skits. What I almost see as an issue, I like anything that is different than the norm, something that's conceptualized. What I see is a lot of people have taken like the Tanner Pendleton blueprint and just like carbon copy.
Yeah.
And you see like this carbon copy street video of just like everybody copying each other. And so for me, when I see a lot of those, I'm like, okay, they're doing it the same way. And it's a great formula, but it's like refreshing to see Casino, for example, or something like that. But I think we need it all. That's
Yeah, I mean, like Book of Moron, for example, pretty small movie, like, but I like it has some carryover with Impaler.
Yep.
Some shared footage there. But like they have like this whole Book of Mormon theme, Book of Moron, and there's these quotes that go throughout the movie just on a black screen that are like rewritten Bible quotes that apply to snowboarding. And that's like a theme, and it just carries through the whole movie. It's so easy, and it's beautiful, you know? So like, I love it when people try things, you know?
We obviously got to talk about 686. I mean, it's a masterpiece, street heavy, but the Colton Tommy combo obviously slaps. Forrest, the Sea Ledge, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, the Riley's switchback lip, Tommy's footage, Dara. It's a great flick.
Yeah, vibe, music, just a pure statement.
Yeah, that was really good. I've watched it a few times. I guess if you watch it a few times, it's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Since another one's coming out 2 minutes later.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That was watched normal speed for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was watched
Yeah,
normal
not
speed.
like
I go to all the premieres too.
Oh, yeah.
I think that when we talk about the length of videos too, if most of these bigger projects, they're like, oh, we're going to do a premiere tour, and we're going to expect a bunch of drunk people to sit down for an hour and a half to watch this movie. They're just going to get up. They probably won't remember it. So maybe that has to do with the length.
Maybe, yeah.
But I mean, what was that? 12 minutes? 686?
Yeah, it's short and sweet.
Yeah, it was good.
You know what I like? No filler.
Yeah.
There's no bullshit in there. Everything in there is great. All killer, no filler.
You know what I like? Context for your tricks. Like, here we are. I'm going to create a little bit of context about who these people are. Like, where it shows the crew together, like the beginning of the Impaler. They're on a quarter pipe. It looks like it's just like a session, like boarding. And they're just like, they look like they're having a blast. Some of the tricks are A grade, some of the tricks are B grade. They're all A grade for me, and it's like, here's a little context about who these people are. They're a crew, they love to snowboard. Now I'm ready to take their crazy ass tricks into my heart, you know? Like, don't just beat me over the head necessarily. Like,
Yeah, buy me dinner first.
buy me dinner, yeah, and bring
like
me to
that.
a nice, sweet little meadow, lay a blanket out, get the picnic basket out, open it up, and inside of it is this sledgehammer street footage.
Yeah, I guess it's like all of it, like when you're a transfer of like emotion, it is what a video is, or like most things that you're trying to get people to be into, and I guess whatever that emotion that whatever video you're trying to get, like 686, the emotion of like support of your friends doing crazy things, I kind of felt where they were like filming each other and I think there's ways to do that like in snowboarding that aren't so like obvious, like you know, hugging after a feature or something, just like because it happens naturally. And I think so the filmmaker is a huge part of this whole entire like recipe of like how do you capture that without being so upfront about it and like making a skit of your friends like holding hands or whatever. So I think that's important. The filmmaker is probably more important than the riding. Everyone's so good.
You could take the same footage of like Tommy and give it to a totally different filmmaker, and it wouldn't have that same feel. You know,
my
like
God,
it's
yeah.
like Colton is the master of making you like filmed perfectly, perfect follow cams,
I love
right
the
blend
follow
of tricks, right blend of spots. Like it's a
the
master.
Follow cams were mastery in there.
Yeah, that's two Jedis. There were, I guess, 5 Jedis working together. And then we have 32 Bone Crusher, which we're going to talk about more in a couple weeks. We got all those guys coming in studio, so we'll save that. Sage dropped a full part on his YouTube channel. A lot of sprinkled in footage and other projects. Really good. Then we got Man Boys and 4, which we dropped on our channel. Some bangers in there. I want to get into Melters 3, Henna. Henna's a G. I'm a huge Henna fan.
Same. She's so down to earth, and so I just like to meet people outside of their snowboarding, and then it kind of like all makes sense. Like Zoe's a good example. Henna's another example where super cool, down to earth, funny, and then you see her do these like insane board slides through triple kinks, and it still has that same like personality, and it's cool to see how like good she's getting. I feel like so many people are getting so good. And Henna's like definitely one of those I got to just shout out Henna as somebody that is like totally taking like her opportunities and bringing up her community, is always like super professional, like I can't spell Finnish names on social media, and she knows that. So she like spells them all out for me, gives me like context to every video for crews that she's not even a part of, just like knows that we know each other, and like takes the time to like reach out and give me all the information I need, which shout out to anyone that does that anyway. That, you know, just makes it really easy for me to just drag and drop those pieces of information and not have to like go on Instagram and find these crazy handles. Which handles is another thing.
That's a whole other
thing. If I can't find your name because it's something like crazy, then I don't know what else I can do. But that's not.
There's a whole psychology behind that we could get into.
Yeah, it's. But yeah, Henna. Not only I think that like, you know, it's even cooler to see her snowboard for herself, but everything she's doing for like the younger girls in Finland and is really important. And those little communities, when they have someone like Henna, that's how they're going to get, you know, to the next level. So yeah, I mean, what is she on? She was in Beyond Metals too.
Yep, and I saw she's got a Monster Scratch recently. So
I did see that. Yeah,
she's got an energy drink deal. That's awesome. Speaking of, you know, female absolute rippers, We Are Losers 2, Hundy.
Loved her part.
The vibe is so good in that. Like,
the vibe's insane.
That is like one of the best vibes of a video part of the year, of the past couple of years. Like, really good.
They really managed to get away from like the second and third part, like natural fall down of a movie, you know? Because they hit us so hard with Haldor, and you just don't know. You didn't know you were going to get full Haldor. And you got full Haldor, and it was like, oh, thank you, you know. And then Hundy, who I'd never even heard of. My bad, but she's
sick,
super fun. You know her?
Yeah, she works for Charles at Stomping Grounds, so she's Sway premiered Casino in the Lobster movie there because she works on park staff for Charles, and so it was cool to actually see her do her thing and like respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, she came to the World Quarter. She was in Mammoth. That's when I first met her. And she won the Best Time Award.
Nice.
Very prestigious.
Yeah, so she was just going full speed towards the big Mammoth wall, which not a lot of people are doing. And maybe it's like something in the European water over there. They're stoked all the time, and I just want to be around them. So when I see them snowboarding, that's the emotion I feel. I'm like, oh, I want to go with Hundy on a street trip now. But yeah, she killed it. And all these people, like Hundy is someone no one's really known of them before. And it's cool to see people put in time, like not only filming, but then they go to the events and they like want to be part of the community bigger picture. So I might put her on the Rookie of the Year.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's that Lobster and Beyond Metals are two crews too, that if you're a female and you're with them, you can put up with a lot of stuff, but that's like an instant stamp because those are like some pretty heavy crews, but also like what you put up with, the riding that you do, everything all together. Like if you have their respect, then you should get the respect from majority of snowboarding in my eyes.
That's rad.
Yeah, those guys go hard. Everybody in the whole vid.
We got to mention that Yuho kid because he was another one that hit me over the head. I'd never heard of.
He banged you over the head?
Dude, that like Terrier double back, the subject Hawkinson flip to second backflip, and just his whole thing, the cab cork double stiffy, like his whole thing.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Such a wild card, and I was like, yes, like yeah, that movie. I watched that movie twice as well. So
that was a good one, and it was the fact that like they made a second one, and Haldor is seemingly back. I mean, his X Games appearance was pretty iconic. That was hilarious.
All right, we're going to change gears here and take a call from Zeb Powell. We also have a call from Ryan Mcdermott later. We got a check-in from Peter Line. We got a bunch more stuff in the show. But right now on the line, we got Zebulon Powell. Zeb, how you doing? What's happening?
Yo, I'm doing good, Chris. We're out here at Troll right now reporting live. Just hit an insane jump session with my boy Luke Winkleman. And yeah, we got the team out here. We're having a blast.
What was going down on the jump? What are you guys serving up?
Yeah. You know, what is it, Valhalla? That jump at the very end of the park. We're jumping into that hip. And like jumping into the side of the jump. It's so much fun right now. This hit, sun's hitting it perfect. It's going crazy.
Damn, who's your crew out in Troll?
We got Alex Kakema with me. We got Luke Winkleman, Grace Warner, Holdy B. J-Mo's out here too. Colt, Green Bean. It's a pretty heavy squad.
Heavy hitters.
So much fun. Yeah.
Damn, Zeb. Well, that's incredible. So I want to talk about you, what you've been got going on lately as far as being a DJ. I heard DJ Zebulon's been kind of chopping it up these days.
Dude, it's been a blast. Yeah, I don't know. Last year, we just had so much fun with our homies who are getting into snowboard and DJ. And I've just been having this ear for music lately. So, all I do is play music on my speakers 24/7. It gets annoying probably, but yeah. So my friends are just like, yo, you should start DJing. So I got this mini little controller that like is packable into a backpack. So I've just been running around with it everywhere. And it's been so much fun playing like in the gondolas, like in the lift lines, like next to the car. It's just been so fun.
Amazing. And you got it with you right now?
It's in the car. I've been kind of waiting to bust it out, but it's so far from the rope, and the rope's just been going off. So, but I got to get a set going.
Yeah, you got to serve up a set on the rope, get it going. So I know earlier we were talking yesterday off air, and you were mentioning how much you're a big fan of the Instagram page Jibbing's Not Dead. I'd love to hear you elaborate on that.
Dude, it's just so funny. It reminds me of like high school. I swear, like or like middle school, there was always homies. You never knew who, but they were starting these like bullshit accounts, just talking shit on everyone, like coming for everyone's throats, like at school. And I was like, who is this? Like, what's going on? And I don't know. I always thought that shit was funny. I never take it so seriously. Like, there's some always getting mad, there's some always laughing at them. But I think it's just funny because at the end of the day, we all laugh at ourselves about snowboarding, and I don't think it should be taken that seriously. You know, what's your take on it?
I know Burtner's got a take.
Well, I'm just wondering if has Zeb showed up on it?
Have you been on there?
I have not showed up on it, but I've gotten the follow, so I think that's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's
maybe he's
big.
keeping an eye out, watching for a fuck up, you know.
Kind of reminds me of Change That Vape a little bit.
It is. Do you think Justin Myers? But there's a lot of speculation on who's behind it.
I don't
Really?
know. Yeah, I would love to know. I mean, they're always commenting on Slush. Some of the things, annoy me, but I have to, separate myself from the. But I heard that some people have tried to log in to the account and to get the email address, any information. They've only gotten the last couple digits of whoever's number this is. But I hit them up over a comment. I was like, should we do an interview, an anonymous interview? And then that way I would know at least.
Yeah, that's amazing. If they did the voice like they do in crime documentaries where they modulate the voice, you guys should do that. That would be amazing.
That
Jibbing's
would be
Not Dead
amazing.
voice modulation, so you still have no idea who it is. My take is the same as yours, Zebulon. Is I think it's a sign of a healthy industry when we got people out there chirping about stairs and really harmless stuff for the the reality of it is it's pretty fucking harmless. And let's be honest, it's snowboarding. We don't need to take ourselves so fucking seriously. We're sliding down a rail on a piece of wood, but I love how he's just out there just chirping, or I don't know if it's a he. I shouldn't speculate, but yeah, it's good for the industry, I'd say.
Dude, yeah, I love it. I mean, shit, he can come for me. I don't really care. I need to be I need to be chirped at a little bit. I got some whack clips out there, you know.
Well, what's like
knows.
the worldview of this account? Like, if you had
Polarizing. I'd say it's polarizing. Some people love it. Some people are angry about it. That's my temperature check on it.
like, is he like
It's got the homies up in smoke.
Yeah.
Up in smoke.
he's like jibbing?
I've been in some holes with jibbing.
Like jibbing's
not dead.
Like it's
No, like snow on the stairs, big problem.
That's
like
a big problem, okay.
Yeah, so
It's kind of the beaver
snow,
slaps
Snow
of
on the
jibbing's
stairs,
dead.
huge problem, which
Okay.
is hilarious take.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like the hill he's gonna die on is snow on the
Okay.
stairs, which
Yeah.
is like it's a great fucking take. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
great take.
Basically,
So funny.
his angle, their angle is that progression in street snowboarding has like halted, like it's like stopped.
okay. Yeah, that's what I'm
Big-
wondering.
This person's a big fan of female snowboarding. That's a lot of what they're commenting. Like, you want to see progression? Don't watch this. Watch Jill Perkins' part. So whoever there is seeing progression in women's snowboarding, but they're not a fan of the progression in men's street snowboarding.
Is it harsher
They
than
cutting us
Yo Beat
no
was?
slack.
Was it harsh? Is it harsher than what Yo Beat used to do?
Can we get a homies cooked on Yobi?
Yeah, let's just throw the homies cooked drop in there real quick. Yeah, that's a throwback reference. Honestly, Yobi's so old, I can almost hard to recall.
yeah. No,
I've been on Yo Beat a few times, so that's why I did
That dates you. That dates you.
I did a drug test one with Stan back in the day. I was in like the contest jock thing. Even Sage was in that. Back. I mean, I had a few appearances. That's why I can relate to this. It's like, I
Yeah.
wonder if it's similar, but obviously mine's way too old.
I mean, I guess a new take on that sort of same spirit, just poking around at the fun little cultural nooks and crannies of snowboarding, trying to get a rise out of people.
Kind of brings people down to earth a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
Take him
When
down
you-
a couple pegs.
when you make fun of what they're doing, it's like, oh, I really am just jumping on this thing, and I'm not doing heart surgery or anything. I should probably chill.
All right, Zebulon, what's the plan this winter? You are a hot commodity these days. Are we talking video part? Are we got the slide in tour? What's going on Planet Zebulon?
Oh my gosh. Planet Zebulon is spinning so fast. I don't know which way to go. I'm having a blast with everything. I don't know. I really just love pulling up the mountains and just having fun with the kids, and I don't know, just doing me. But also, the thought of the street part, I just keep like putting on songs and like, damn, this would be so sick to do a street part. So it'd be sick to do a street part. I got a few people knocking on the door. So I don't know. I think we're gonna get into the season and see what's popping. Do a little bit of everything, and maybe lean into a little street part this year.
How are the Midwest Zeb fans? You getting some people that are hyped to meet you out there?
Yeah, there's just I just like hop on the rope and people are like, no fucking way, that's Zeb right there. Like,
So sick, dude.
that's cooked. I got it. That's cooked this morning. It was sick. Or maybe it was fried. I don't know. It was funny.
Well, we're gonna go ride next week in Mammoth. It should be a good time.
Dude, yeah. Got the annual Mammoth trip.
All right. Well, we got a bunch of stuff to cover. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this thing up, Zeb? What do you got for us?
Oh, I'm just hyped to whip the limo to the pop out in a few weeks.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, word has it we're getting the limo for the pop out that me and Alex Kakima are doing at Park City. So thank you for letting us do that.
Yeah, I know a guy. We can get you dialed in. We'll get you taken care of.
Let's go.
All right. All right, Zeb, thanks for calling and chatting. Get back to snowboarding. Tell Winkleman to do a tail press back 3 for me.
Oh, yeah, I didn't tell him last time. I'll do it this time.
All right. Thanks,
All
Zeb.
right.
Appreciate
Thanks for
you.
having me, Chris. See you guys.
Bye, Zeb.
Later.
Peace.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and talk about one of our sponsors. We love them here at the Bomb Hole. That's Bubs Naturals. Now, we always talk about their collagen. It's great for your joints. It's great for your skin. It's great for your hair. It's great for your nails. And if you're getting older and you want to take good care of your body, it's great to throw some collagen in a shake and keep getting out there and getting after it. Now, I want to talk to you guys about their Bubs Natural Brew. It's a coffee. It's delicious. It's USDA organic, mold-free. It's Whole30 approved. And one thing that's great about Bubs is 10% of all of their proceeds go to charity. So be sure to support a good cause by supporting Bubs. You can find their products at bubsnaturals.com. Use promo code BOMBHOLE for 20% off. All right, here at the Bombhole, we love Woodward Park City. Great place to go snowboarding. It's about 15 minutes from SLC, and they're open 365 days a year with twilight lift access for snowboarding, which is great for the old after work, after school people that still want to get it in. Access to Woodward Park City is available through lift tickets with full day lift access starting at $40, which is totally affordable. And new for this season, Woodward's Mountain Park memberships come with no monthly commitment. That's $119 a month of unlimited outdoor riding. If you ride for 2 days and the membership pays for itself. You can also get the all-access membership for unlimited indoor hub and mountain park access, but that is a 4-month commitment. Woodward Park City is the ultimate training facility with trampolines, foam pits, and airbags with the best coaching staff in the business, all designed for progression. It's also one of Salt Lake City's only indoor heated concrete skate parks. We love that you can skate year-round up at Woodward. It's just a good place to have fun with your friends. It's as simple as that. All right, we're coming back at you. I think we're all going to hit a smelling salt, run through a wall smelling salt to get back in. Here we go.
Cue the nose flute.
Got to get ready, prepare.
Kelly Clarkson.
What stance?
Oh, Kelly Clarkson?
Kelly Clark.
Oh, Kelly Clark is regular. I don't know Kelly Clarkson. What stance?
I heard
she is.
she's goofy, actually.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But she skates regular, but she fingerboards goofy, too.
She skates Bart, I think.
Yeah, she skates Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa.
All right, this is a good one. This is from Sean Lucy. Let's give Sean Lucy. Should we give him a Homies Cooked?
Homie's so good.
Okay, that's for Luce. Shout out Luce. I want to hear off top everyone's favorite street clip and POW clip of the year so far. And if you guys don't got answers, I got one.
Street clip, shout out one of my good friends, Jill Perkins, that down flat, down flat, down flat.
Her ender?
Not the ender, the 50-50.
Oh, yeah, I guess because the front two is the ender.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
guess
the clip
so.
before
She
the
has
ender?
like 3 enders, but
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that clip's banger.
POW clip, I really like Red's like mega cliff that he turned into a jump.
Back
that
10?
session he did, yeah, back 10, did the 3 before.
Yeah.
I guess is that what do you consider a POW clip? Just in the back country?
Yes.
Okay.
That answers the yes, backcountry.
Answer that one fast.
I'm not ready.
Okay, Louie, you got anything?
Forrest Bailey.
The sea ledge?
That thing was nuts.
Yeah,
He's just
good
so
answer.
good. He's like a wizard. Kevin Backstrom.
Which one?
Talked about it. The shifty.
Front 3 shifty tail. I was gonna do that one.
I know. I
He
bit
stole.
that.
He stole it from me. That's bullshit.
All right, I'm ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, jib clip, Mike Little, switch nose slide pretzel on that kink rail. Thought that was the best you could do that.
Perfect technique.
And there's so many good ones though. But POW is easy. Travis Rice ender, the triple line, that was next level. The side of snowboarding that we've been pushing for decades and decades since Subject Hawkinson. That was another step up in bringing like a slopestyle line to life in a natural backcountry setting.
Yeah,
Rider of the year.
I've heard a few Rider of the Year call outs for Travis Rice, which can't really argue that.
Back rodeo, cab 3, cab 9.
Beauty. Okay, I'm going to do one just favorite clip of the year is Cole Solner in AC9 lighting himself on fire and going into the river. To me,
that was
to me,
amazing.
that's just like, that's the cream of the crop. That's the top of the totem pole. That one just kind of gets me excited to go snowboard. Like the homie, I don't know if his pants were flame retardant. It seems like he just kind of went for it. You know what I mean? In terms of rail clips, I think I'm going to go Riley Nickerson switchback lip sea ledge where he just dove into the inside of that thing.
Amazing.
I think that's my favorite street clip of the year. Backcountry, I think I'm going to go back 5 Chad's Gap no grab. Back 5 no grab Chad's Gap. Sebe DeBuck. Big, but like gnarly, doesn't move. Awesome. Okay.
Getting
All
a
right.
bug.
All right. So we got a fun section of the show here we're going to get into. Essentially, we got a, Silk, how would you describe this? An angry email from a listener? Disgruntled email from a listener. So we figured there's only really one way to handle this situation. And what we landed on was we're going to read the email and make it into a song. So we have here a disgruntled email from a listener named Sadie. Okay, here we go. All right, this track goes out to Sadie, a very disgruntled listener. We want to let you know we see you, we hear you, and we got a track for you. The title of the email reads, Burtner, Donna. Okay, let's hit it. What a kiss-ass softball interview. You all should be ashamed. It's fucked up how much you kissed her ass. Got her right there. Ask tough questions and flake till you all get free Burton boards at the end of the pod, question mark. Go run through a brick wall, fucking losers.
That's the plan.
Go run through a brick wall, fucking losers. Go run through a brick wall, losers. Excuse typos, please. Please excuse my typos.
No, it did not say that.
It did.
It did at the end. Yeah,
It's on the screen for everyone listening, but
yeah. Silk Silk produced that.
That was amazing,
Yeah.
Silk.
Wow,
That
that
was
was
beautiful.
good.
thank you.
Yeah.
That was a
Silk
very
Days on-
disgruntled
Silk-
and
Silk
not
Days
much.
on Spotify and Apple Music and everything.
Yeah.
Continue.
Silk Days on Spotify. Yeah. Check
With a
it out.
Z?
Yep.
Nice.
They're cool.
You should
They are
change.
cool.
You should change your like album cover to the dog with the haircut.
Okay.
And done.
Yeah. So I thought it was a pretty good email all in all. But the why don't you go run through a brick wall, you fucking losers? I thought that was just that was perfect. That
Yeah.
was just a great. That was like, yep. And then excuse typos, please. Send. We got it. Boom.
Yeah.
We got it. We covered everything we needed to.
I just love the circle back to just be like, and sorry about the typos. Hey, fuck you guys. Hey, sorry about the typos. It's like, that's a conflicted soul there.
Yeah, we get a lot of angry emails, so I think it's a good way to handle them.
Yeah.
Okay, we got another question from this one's from Dowell Jamie, I believe on IG or maybe Patreon, not sure. Jed or Gesme? Must choose one, no veto.
No, why no veto?
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. No, we'll get into that after this.
Am I supposed to answer
Yeah,
first?
go ahead.
Well, it's tough because I've known Jed since he was a little kid back in our forum days. And Tommy's I'm like newer to, but I like him. And Grundy's is always Grundy said that he kind of backed me, which was a surprise coming from a core rider. So I got mad respect for him too. So it's tough for me to decide between the long term or the new respect that I got and somebody who's super sick. So come back to me.
Wow.
Katie?
Katie.
So you just Louie Vito'd it.
Yeah,
He gave a perfect.
I had it going to it till you called me out. Jesse let that one slide too. He's like, all right, cool.
All right, what do we got?
I'm gonna have to think about the angle on this because what am I judging them off of?
What's the bevel here?
'Cause
Overall impression.
Overall impression. I mean, I would pick Tommy. I've partied with him more. No veto. I guess I would go with Tommy. I find that I am more like drawn when all your friends are snowboarding. It's like, you get really hyped if it's your friend versus, not that Jed isn't my friend. I just haven't spent a lot of time with him. So when I see like my friend like Tommy put out a part, I'm just like a little bit more drawn to it. So
Well, I'm just wondering why you hate Jed so much, though.
Yeah, what's up with
Yeah,
that?
that
What's
is
up with
weird.
that? Yeah, you
He's
have a
it,
personal
you know?
vendetta.
Let's dig into this.
yeah. I'm like, there's no way you can be that good.
The
And
stuttering of the answer says it all right
Yeah,
there.
she's squirming around there. It's really squirming.
I would take either of them
So that's a Louie
out
Vito.
on a date.
Late. What do you got? What do you got?
Jed.
Jed. Okay. Any explanation?
Just he put that he wanted to film a think tank in his checkout.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
That's
a case
good.
closed. That's a
And
case
he's just
closed.
Jed, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, Jed.
Oh, yeah.
Jed's Jed.
So
Tommy's Tommy.
So
But I'm going Jed.
Yeah, I like that. So Tommy's my guy.
Yeah.
Jed, also my guy. Okay, they're
You're in a real pickle.
I'm in a pickle here. Now, day in and day out, on just a style perspective, Tommy's my favorite. He's my favorite.
Yeah.
However, this year particularly, Jed, like doing that like Lifetime Achievement Award ender where you just he kind of filmed his opus, like he had the part this year. So this year, this point in time, with all the work that Latex Mansion put in, I gotta go Latex. That's my final answer. So, Silk, you got to take.
I'm gonna go Jed.
Okay.
That was a really tough one.
Yeah, that's a
That I
hard
never
hitting.
answered.
That's a hard hitting. I like it. All right, so we got all kinds of other stuff to talk about here. We got a call again with Ryan McDermott in a little bit. We're going to hit him up. Oh, yeah, so we didn't really talk about Louie Vito, the answer. It became a thing. So to provide a little bit of context, when we had Louie on, he was one of our first guests, and we were asking about how much money he made, and he just brilliantly could flip the question on its head and never answer it, and we didn't even know what we were talking about. So it was the art of the media training. So we actually have a question from Daniel Jensen for Louie here, and he says, can you give us a media training tutorial? So I could kind of ask you a question, and you could maybe you could show us how to flip it on its head?
Yeah, I can try.
Okay.
It was one of those that I don't do intentionally. It just kind of works out. So let's see.
So, Louie, how much money did you make during Dancing with the Stars?
I did pretty well. You got to think it's an amount that everybody makes. So whether you're Kelly Osbourne or somebody like me that didn't have a name or the followers, granted it was when only there was Twitter, but and then every 2 weeks it would go up. So you got paid X amount go up. And then you got paid as like when you signed, when you got kicked off, when you did the finale. But it was enough to get everybody to do it, and not like there's no negotiations on it. So for me, I was hyped because I wasn't a big celebrity.
So I'm curious, what is the exact amount that we're talking about?
Or what if we give him a little bit of like
Okay, go ahead.
a parachute here.
A parachute, okay.
And I put a down payment on a...
Man, I've been in the same house that I've owned since 2006. So
Damn, he's good.
I only have one house.
And I was able
I
to
got
buy
Toyota
a brand
cars,
new...
so I don't even pay for a car. But it was good.
And I'm going to retire at the age of...
I mean, I could have already retired. I just do it. Snowboarding.
Yeah, that's really that. You didn't really Louie Vito that. That's kind of, I could have already retired is honestly like the most. I think we actually have a lot of questions around you. Have people brought up the Louie Vitoing the answer to you?
Yeah, I get a lot of people too that are like, "Oh, the bomb hole mentioned you." I'm like, "Oh, what'd they say about me?" They're like, "Oh, they just said that person Louie Vitoed the answer." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was kind of hoping they were like maybe like said something good about me, but I'll take that
Maybe
too.
my snowboarding.
Nah, I'm always a better talker. My two passions, talking and snowboarding, and I'm better at talking. So
Not after that front 12 in Sauce Bay, brother. Whew.
yeah, but I feel like that's cooler though because of how old I am. So like, I mean, it's going to be pretty soon when you see young kids doing that, and I'm like, oh man, thought I was cool doing that at 30. Gosh, I'm 35 now. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
What age do you think you'll be able to do a front double cork in the pipe till? You think you'll be able to do one at age 50?
I mean, I would think so, just because I think I've done so many back in the 2009, and you got to think that's like I've literally had a day where I did straight air, front double 10, like no other trick, not even a 360. So that's why when I fall, I get really mad on it because it's like my safest trick. I'd rather do a front double 10. By mid-season, I'll do a front double 10 and feel more confident than just a front 7. Front 7s, I get freaked out. Like, what am I supposed to do? Nothing. you do nothing on a front 7. Front double 10, you like are used to having to give it. But maybe 50, I don't know. Got to see how my body's feeling because my body's at 50 right now. So kind of same thing, I guess.
There's all this talk about the youngest kids doing stuff, youngest kid to triple cork, youngest this. I don't give a shit about any of that. I want to know, I'm excited for snowboarding to age and to see the oldest tricks, oldest McTwist, oldest double cork. Chad's got the oldest double cork right now.
Chad's going to keep setting those
But
bars.
this guy, all he does,
Otterstrom's insane.
yeah.
all Louie does is work out and eat hard-boiled eggs and like take care of himself. He's gonna be able to double cork until he's fucking 60, dude.
I like to think so, but thank you. I take that as a compliment. I really embrace the jock in me, and but honestly, though, I think the gym is where I'm like, I'd rather do everything I can, and whatever happens at this age, like it's out of my control. I do everything I can in my control. But I definitely think it's played a huge part on why I'm able to do what I do at 35. I mean, I'll be 36 in March, so you know, I enjoy it though. So I like to keep my body together because my back's so bad these days. I get locked up all the time, and then it sucks when you can't even put a sock on, and you're like, man, I'm really freaking old now. I can't even put a sock on. I remember like Chloe Kim making fun of me. We were having lunch. We were in Japan before 2018 Olympics, and I think I got up and she's like, why do you walk like an old man? Because, you know, it takes me a second to kind of get straight. and then I'm like, well, you know, you'll understand when you get older. And then she says to me like a year or two ago, like, oh, I understand what you're saying. I was like, okay, now take that and I'll multiply that by multiple years and then you'll understand. You still don't understand now.
And then hit 40. And then talk to us.
But JJ Thomas was jacked when he hit 40. He was like 30s were like great for him. 40s is like great for him. I just follow the JJ Thomas program because he's always hyped. Like I think every decade he gets more hyped.
Can we add the JJ Thomas program to the infographic? Because like I want to talk about the JJ Thomas program.
Yeah, go to look at his Instagram. I mean, dude's having probably more fun now than he's had in a long time, like snowboarding, and he just cruises. He's got deals. He's just riding and
He literally just cruises.
Yeah, it's
like,
sick.
He like it's like pumps, 2 bumps, and a trail. It's got like 200,000 likes.
Just even a half pipe too. He just like makes half pipe
rips.
look just so flowy. You're like, that's dope.
What boards you riding, Louie?
I run in Yonex for pipe, and then I kind of run. I wanted to have a quiver, like a surfboard quiver of Powell boards, like so when I go to Snowbird or something. So I've ridden I have a T Rice that I ride sometimes. Shout out to Barrett.
Not Burtner. Shout out to Barrett.
Barrett hooks me up.
Yeah,
Barrett's my
I sent you
sponsor.
some boards once, but
Yeah, Hooper's giving me a board too. A Capita Kazu, the really cool graphic. Shout out to Blue and Dangler for that because that was a hard one to get. And I got a White Space Powell board that I've rode a bit last year.
How is that thing?
It was good, but it was a boat, so it's like just cruise the mountain. I'm not like trying to get all buck up there, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to quiver. I want to ride any board. I want to try a quiver board, an actual Nitro quiver board, because those look really fun. I know there's like 40 of them, but one of them. I just ride anything for POW Park. Park's like also just a fun board.
You need it. So for pipe, you need a stiff dog, right? You need like
I think my pipe, it's stiff and it's pretty narrow because I got small feet.
Okay.
And it's fun. Like it's so fun to rip groomers, but go to Woodward Park City and you don't want to ride the pipe. It's not that fun for like, oh, I'm just going to hit this rail and my edges are razor sharp.
It's not like a LibTech box scratcher, you could say.
no.
It's not similar to that.
No, I would love to give my pipe board to Sleepy Stevens and have him do like an MJ or something and see if you actually cut into the plexiglass.
Oh my god. I gotta change my jib clip. Ethan Dice.
Oh, down the hubba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
wow.
crazy.
The MJ down the hubba?
Yeah.
Good
Sorry.
call.
Carry on.
Yeah, I like that. Silk, you're gonna have to find that.
Oh yeah, they found it. It's on
Okay.
the screen.
Okay. All right.
Nice
So
work.
I got one other thing too, talking about Sasfe. So I don't know the contest scene that well aside from when I go to do tour, whatever. And I like to picture like all the national teams up there, just like not talking to each other, coaches on iPads. Is that real or is it what's the vibe in the pipe?
Well, you definitely have crews, that's for sure. And I think it's pretty insane because the top of the pipe, I would say there's more coaches, techs, filmers, and not like your type of filmers, like coach cam filming, than there are riders. Like, it's packed up there. I mean, Japan's probably got 4+ coaches, maybe a filmer on the deck shooting photos for them. The U.S. has wax tech, 2 coaches. If the rookie team's coach there, that's another one. PT, team doctor. Germany's got 2 coaches for 4 riders or 3 riders. My squad is Brett Esser and Ben Boyd. You know, they're at the bottom. That's where the spot is, at the bottom of the pipe. But it is crazy. And then you kind of got like the crews. So the U.S. one would be Lucas Foster, Joey Okeson, Chase Josie, Cuban Lou. He's in the pipe scene now, so he's a pipe jock. Yep, shout out to him for sure. I never thought I'd see the day, but I love it. Then you have Yuto and Ruka stick together. Then you have like you just got people that are in little pods. I'd say they're not as friendly like Scotty, James, and Sean James. They're on their own little zone. They're not really. I like to just break it up with everyone. If they're a little too serious, I go and make them talk to me.
You're a social butterfly out there, is what you're saying.
Yeah, to an annoying point for some of these serious people. But I kind of miss the days where, like, you were feeding off of each other more. Like, you still see it, but it's like that's the group that feeds off of each other. Oh, Yuto's doing a triple, then Ruka's probably going to be doing a cab triple. Just look at the other side of the deck. Like,
that's like going to be my question was, like, how much, like, are they, like, watching each other and, like, switch triple, you know, like... Like, are they like looking, like waiting for Scotty James to unveil the new trick, or like?
No, honestly, no. It's Scotty works at his own like speed, and like you'll see him do like cab 7, cab 7, cab 7, cab double, cab double, cab double, cab 7, and then he might leave, or you might see him just go up and cab triple, and then he leave. Like he's like their crew is just Sean James, James Jackson, Scotty. That's like their little
Jameses.
pod. Exactly, the 3 Jameses.
Yeah.
But then, like, Ruka and Yuto they kind of like are riding together, and they're like maybe hitting up higher, and they'll like be messing around, and then like the pipe closes, let's say at 2 o'clock, at like 1:45, they're like, all right, I think we're going to try some triples. So it's sweet for me because I'm done at this point. So I just sit back because they got chairs. They had a coffee shop like a little coffee shop at the bottom. Charles did it proper, and you just sit back and watch. You're like, all right, hold on, you guys. Triple's coming. Let's watch this. All right, that's sick. I'm not going to do one, but that's dope to watch. Kind of weird, though, because it's mellow.
Didn't you say Ayumu was just on the bag?
Ayumu was bag life heavy. Like, I think honestly, it would be like, let's be safe because there's a couple times the bag didn't go up, but I'm saying under 20 runs in 3 weeks in the pipe if you added up all the hits he did. But that's his thing. Like, he will do so many, whether it's a triple or whatever, so many in the bag. Do it on snow, back to the bag, so many. But that's why he can do it every time. He'll just do it on snow. If you watch any of the contests, he just FT, no big deal, and then fall in like an easier trick. But yeah, he's heavy bag. Kaishu's the fun one because Kaishu's a mixture of Eiju, the oldest brother, and Ayumu. Ayumu's so calculated. Eiju's crazy, super sick, but just didn't care. Kaishu's in between. He's so good, but he's not afraid to get bodied, and he'll just go. And he's so hyped all the time. I don't think he's ever had a bad day. It's awesome.
Amazing. So who do you think coming down the pipeline, you know, you've been with all these contest rippers, who do you think is going to be on a tear this winter in the pipe scene?
Well, the thing is I've always thought that like Scotty's consistent. That's a big key, right? When you're going every weekend almost. And then Yuto and Ruka, you know, they're so insane, but at the Olympics, like they had a rough Olympics. They just didn't put a rundown, which is insane to see. And then Copper last year, this just kind of teased it up for Ryan's, but like this, the pipe was a little bit flatter. It was snowing. It was so slow, and they struggled to get amplitude. And it really, I don't think any of them even made a final. So, but I would say like Yuto, Ruka, Scotty, Jan,
Chase Josie.
Oh yeah, Chief. Chief is like you never know.
Taylor Gold.
Taylor Gold's done in half pipe.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Retired.
I didn't know that.
Off the team.
Yep.
But Chief is like, some days he sends, some days it's just Chief, we were talking about Goofy Regular. He's one of those people that I still question sometimes in my head. It takes me a second to, wait, was that Switch? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, he's Regular. Because he's got every trick. And he's another person, like, he might hit the bag once or twice and be like, oh, I got to figure this out. And then he'll just do it on snow, and it'd be like the sickest thing. He used to do a front 12, like, flat and then duck the end. It was like kind of reminded me of the people who did like the back 90, then roll into the back rodeo.
Yep. That last 360
yeah,
totally
he does
flipped.
that. And it's like, how do you do that? He's like, oh, no, I just tried it. And just like, it rolled over. And I was like, okay. And he just stomps. You know what I mean? But Jan's always got some like new stuff. Like his back 9 shifty is super sick. But granted, you're gonna need to make that a 12.
Dude, what did Scotty James do earlier this year? Where it was like a Switch McTwist rewind thing? Did you see that? What the fuck was that? That was amazing. Did you see that?
I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, but that's like Pat Moore used to do that all the time when you get stuck.
Yeah.
So I think Scotty's can. I don't know if his was stuck or if it was intentional, but like I knew that Pat used to do them, especially on a quarter pipe.
Yep.
But there's people like Ryan Walkendorfer, Jack Coyne, and I think Toby's done like the chuck back to switch.
Yep.
And some of them have done it double chuck back to switch.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And that's just like, I think you mess up one time and then you try to figure it out.
Jack's done the switch double chuck to regs.
Yeah.
Like
he's another one that's just...
He's our intern, actually. He was interning at the bomb hole all fall.
That's what I thought I saw. He's good. I mean, he's one of those riders, too. You're just like, I don't go big, so I can say this, but he doesn't go super big on tricks, and he can do any trick, I swear. You just try it. Back double 12, okay. Like, so our switch, he did switch back double 12. Like, no problem. Like, how do you whip your board around? And then he'll go and crush it on a jump, crush it on a rail. He can ride everything pretty good.
All right. We're going to take a break and talk to you guys about Capita. I'm a big fan of their products. I ride the Capita Navigator. That's what I rode every POW day, and we got a lot of them last year. And let me tell you something. I was surprised by this board. I got it. It was soft. But the thing I loved about it is that it floated on the snow so nicely. So on those powder days when it's deep, you don't have any back leg burn because the front end just floats. It's directional. It carves really well. It stays up on top of the snow, but it's still soft. So I rode the 161, so it's a bigger board. But since it's softer, I still felt like I could maneuver it, get it where I needed it to be. You could kind of still manhandle this thing, even though it was a bigger board. So I really can't say enough good things about the Capita Navigator. Love that board. Another thing about Capita is it's rider-owned. The people that work there eat, breathe, and love snowboarding. So be sure to support the brands that contribute to snowboarding. And if you're interested in getting yourself a Capita, check out the Navigator. You can find it at your local snowboard shop, or you can also find it at Capita's website. All right, we're going to take a quick break and talk about Hippeas. Now, if you want a healthy snack that's good for you and tastes good, check out Hippeas. They're non-GMO. They're packed full of flavor. I love the nacho vibes. That's the one I eat the most here at the office when we're working. And they're made with chickpeas. So they're farmed with 10% of the water of most proteins. So they use 90% less water taken from Mother Nature. So support sustainable farming with sustainable snacking. If you want to get a good snack, you can find them at your local grocery store or at hippeas.com. Use promo code BOMBHOLE, all caps, for 20% off your order from Hippeas. All right, let's talk to you, Katie, for a sec. Let's point the lens at Katie here. We're gonna point it at Katie. So you're a dual threat, okay? So athlete, you got your boss over here for signs the
forgot my patch with Jack.
And you're also media person. So Slush, digital and social. I would love to hear kind of what your role is over at Slush. I think that'd be interesting for people to hear about to start things off.
Well, I guess we'll go back to 1993. I've been snowboarding for a while. I'm from New Jersey and went to school and really wanted to snowboard. And I guess when opportunities came up, I kind of just chose them on what I could snowboard the most in, or what would give me most days on the mountain. And worked in restaurants forever, tried restaurant stuff for a while, but that limits you to like where you can travel to. And like I thought and I guess it's true, like more days on the hill, no matter what you're doing, is going to make you a better snowboarder. So I started doing a lot of like remote work, made a lot of crazy decisions, but, got like my marketing and sales skills through like recruiting and doing some little marketing gigs. But that allowed me to like make a living and still snowboard all the time. So I guess the Slush just kind of like fell into my lap, where I was like meeting people and they were like, oh, you're a capable human being, so we need somebody like you. But yeah, basically what I was like, oh, I can work and nerd out on snowboarding, which I do anyway, and then get to snowboard like as much as I can. And it's all kind of just like both at the same time, like grown together, which so thankful for LibTech for like, supporting. I feel like it's really hard to be like, hey, brand, I also like, on the side, you have to take some calls during the day and all this stuff. But it's helped me a lot in the self-discipline world, I would say. Really like manage my time. Now I'm like super, like when I'm on my snowboard and I'm on a trip, like filming, I'm like, okay, like I got 2 weeks to like get as many clips as I can, and like just makes me like more responsible all around. And then Slush, known Pat for a bit, and this is kind of funny, but I wrote Pat a letter when I was 12 that was published, that I didn't know was published.
Sick.
That said that I'm a 12-year-old photographer and want my photos ran. I didn't even have a camera.
What?
Yeah, that's it. And then he like wrote me back. Anyway, I didn't know about this, but I always like, I think something that like destiny or like something I'm really passionate about is like talking to people and like learning their story, and snowboarding is something that has allowed me to do that. And that's kind of like when I started with Slush, I've been there for like, this is going to be in January, like a full year full time. So I quit my recruiting job and do all the digital website, email marketing, social media. And I really like have a lot of faith and think that my team's awesome. We have Justin Meyer and Stan. Straight up Meyer's the freaking go. Stan, Pat, myself, Bob Plum, photo editor. We have Kyle, who's art director. And I kind of worked for them part-time a little bit, just doing some social stuff. And then when Pat asked if I wanted to, kind of take it all, take on the job of 4 people, I was like, yeah, let's go. Now I'm really feeling that weight. But I just saw a lot of opportunity in the space. And I know all these guys have like so much experience. And I think what I bring to the table is, I don't know maybe like the history as much, or like I'm not a filmer or whatever, but I can like bring all the pieces together. Which is like
the glue. Yeah,
which is what my job is. I'm like, Stan, write this copy. Meyer, make this, send me that clip. And then, and I love like, working for like entrepreneur vibes, similar to snowboarding, where it's like, it is what you make of it. So I'm like, hey, I have this idea. And then they're like, all right, let's go for it. I call it executive decision making. I have a lot of power there. I'm like, now my daily like thing is just updating. Right now it's like watching all these videos, updating them, but I really like the strategy and like where we could go with snowboard media. And yeah, it's fun.
Killer, you breezed over recruiting, but the Bomb Hole has used your recruiting services at one point. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, Silk.
Yeah.
Recruited him.
Let's get a little backstory on that. How'd that happen?
Yeah, so recruiting is a very interesting field as we sidestep from snowboarding. But I saw an opportunity in recruiting. I interned for this guy. We were doing it for a lot of like outdoor companies, so like Patagonia and the North Face. And I was like, oh, I want to work for them because at least I'll learn about what all these jobs are. I know now that like it takes 25 jobs to make a snowboard, or that, the t-shirt that you're wearing is not just like a t-shirt. There's like a product developer. Anyway, I guess most things I go into is like what I can learn from them. And then recruiting is you're just talking to people, finding out what they want to do in the future and what the company needs from a person. And I was doing it like I've basically been doing freelance for a while, and I was just helping companies grow. And Chris, through the grapevine, heard that I was a recruiter and called me up. And I think I know enough about the bomb hole to at least kind of know what the right person was. And he kind of described Silk to me. So,
Perfect.
yeah.
That's
and then
awesome.
I'm a professional stalker, everybody. I will stalk you out. But yeah, I kind of just, having an updated LinkedIn and like writing about what you want to do in the future, even if you don't do it now. I actually work with like Reed Smith and all the younger kids on like how to translate what they do in snowboarding and like what they like to do and how to make it a career, whether it is just snowboarding, but you know, I think what's helped me in working and snowboarding and recruiting and things is like being like bringing more to the table than just like I'm a snowboarder, I do this or whatever. It's like knowing all the ins and outs and everything and being able to contribute to like the bigger conversation. And yeah, like Silk killed it on his LinkedIn. He's like, I love.
Thank you.
I just typed in a few things on LinkedIn and called some homies up that I was like, hey, and I just like screen people, and he was like a easy candidate. He was like perfect. I was like sending Chris some people. I would like send him, and he'd be like, no. And I was like, oh, I got the perfect one. Finally, and he was really looking for somebody that was like knew what the bomb hole was, but maybe wasn't like the person that has been like getting like free snowboards or like
Definitely me.
or there is like some type of like ego or jadedness that comes from being a younger professional snowboarder, and I think that's kind of being removed because I think a lot of snowboarders are like, my role is bigger than just like going out there and doing and hucking myself, and it's hard to find. And I feel like there's a lot of opportunity in the workspace of someone that loves it and wants to work in it as well. And yeah, now Silk, how long have you been here?
A little over a year.
Yeah.
That's
Keeps
a
getting better.
win.
Keeps getting better. He's a crucial part.
Yeah.
Kills it.
Numbers
The
are going up.
person who edits all these podcasts. He always kicks ass all the time. Happy that he's like beyond happy that he's here. And it's interesting thinking about when going through this recruiting process. Maybe if people are listening, like there's kids that you'd send me their resume and they've gone to college for editing. They have no work experience, none, and they're like, I want $180,000, and you're like,
that's crazy.
Like it's like, let's be realistic here. Why don't you get your foot in the door here, and then work your way up or whatever. But it was cool just in the sense that Silk was like very coachable, very open, didn't have any ego, didn't have like that. That's a huge thing. It's like not coming into a job being like, I know what I'm doing. I know everything. I know all the shit. I know all my stuff. Like it's like he was totally like
I had no idea what I was.
Well, no, he had a great skill set, but he had no ego, and I think that made it. And he's been able to grow his skill set, and it's cool.
That's so sick. Just like the full. I'm like witnessing the full circle right here.
Special moment.
Basically, I was calling Silk on the chairlift, being like, hey, you like, so because of recruiting and like jobs that I've taken, that when I'm taking them, I'm like, okay, I could hustle on a Monday and then get to ride Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And that, I mean, I just been transparent with my bosses for up till now and my snowboard brands that I ride for and stuff. And like, I think that's like, I mean, that's why I was good at recruiting, because if I worked with outdoor companies, I was like, oh, I am snowboarding right now. And I don't know.
I think it's so important too, just like that I think it's important for people to see that you can do more than one thing, and like, if I had any advice for a younger me, even though I was doing more than one thing, because I was also producing a movie, but it's like, build other aspects of your life. They're only going to help your snowboarding, and they're only going to help you down the road. And like a sponsor shouldn't, unless you're on a crazy level, like maybe getting up on a Louie Vito level of public identity and appearances and stuff, like there should be room for lots of other things in your life if you're participating in this core snowboarding playground,
Well, Kate, I wanted to ask you, with obviously your snowboarding career and then Slush is growing as well, what's been you kind of answered, but what's been probably the most challenging part that maybe you didn't see going into it?
I think it's I guess it's a personal thing because I think I bite off more than I can chew. And when I see an opportunity at Slush, I'm like, oh, we got to make this event calendar. And then who has to do the work is me, is like, so.
The event calendar is dope, by the way.
Yeah.
Plug that. If you're looking to know any event to go to in snowboarding, Slush Magazine event calendar, it has them all, like all the bomb hole stuff's on there, any other events, like no conflicting dates. It's cool. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool because I could be like, I'm going to make this. And then it's like, it all like works out. I think for me, like being a snowboarder and like living amongst it and like being in the space, something that I've had to overcome is like the vulnerability that comes with like hosting a podcast or like writing an article. It's like you're basically writing something that your friends are reading, and that like everything you do is basically for your peers, which is very unique in real life. When usually if you're working for marketing, it's like, you know, I market for Amex and no one even sees the person behind it, but you're like not only that's something that I'm challenging right now, where I have to manage these relationships that like, you're my best friend, but we need to get this work done. Or like, I have to like, you know, put myself out there and like write this article that's like, maybe I don't feel that comfortable doing. But then I think that like helps with like confidence and things like that, where, but that translates to like everything else in your life, where you're like, oh, if I could write an article, like I could, you know, present in front of the LibTech marketing team about my new board or whatever the case is. But I think that's like the biggest challenge with working in something that you love, is just like the vulnerability part of it, where you're just all your peers are judging you, whether it's good or bad. Like, you know, and that's something that's, I mean, Chris, you must have had it.
Oh, that goes. you stop. That ship is sailed a long time ago.
I love that.
You know, that was a thing for me when I was younger, for sure. But you know, for me, I think about I think about the consumer of the podcast. I make podcasts for our listeners. I don't make them for, you know, the majority. A lot of times, my friends don't listen to it. You know, that's actually the reality. Is like
that is the reality.
My true friend. A lot of my real friends, they're like, yeah, no, I'm listening to the Bunt or whatever. You know, they're like, that's their shit or something. You know, so. But yeah, I think that's a realistic hurdle. Now, I'd love to talk to you and pick your brain about this common subject. You know, the landscape of media per se, right? You got podcasts, you got TikTok, you got Instagram, you got magazines, and I would love to hear you elaborate on the importance of magazines in this media landscape.
Yeah, I think I have a unique perspective because I haven't been doing it for very long, which I think is an advantage in some ways. I'm lucky that the people that I work with have been doing it for a long time. So I guess like the history of sports journalism and snowboard magazines are that it used to be you kind of like got to sit on your information for a while. Like it wasn't like some like tweeting like, you know, someone just got injured, you know, like they're not playing today. It was like in snowboarding, it was like you waited until the issue hit to read about what happened last year. And now it's just constant consumption, which is more work for the journalists, and also has to be modified for that purpose. So like my philosophy, I guess, is that people like to consume things a bunch of different ways, whether it's they like to read or they like to listen or they like to watch. So like ideally whatever you're doing, you're just like repurposing for all those different types of ways to do it. But when I look at the magazine, I think of it as like what's inside of the magazine is what's the most important, and how people consume that is like up to them. And Stan and all the people on the team like put so much authentic and like genuine work behind it that it deserves like that light. So I think like changing the way that we present it, like, you know, if you look at it, you know, the pie or whatever, I bet the same amount of people that like look at magazines are going to stay probably the same amount. I mean, I don't have any statistics on that, but right, it's like 2,000 people look at snowboard magazines. I don't really see that getting any bigger. So like my ideas are that like we just created like an app. So it's like all of the issues that you could read at your fingertips, like where those 2,000 people are still going to get the magazine. And we print like 10,000 copies of this magazine. Like they're around. So that will never stop. But if a younger kid or someone that's on a plane or whatever wants to read the magazine, it's like the same content that you would get from the magazine, just like in a different form. And that was a hard thing to hurdle. Like talking Pat Bridges into getting an app was like pretty much like, you know, stabbing the magazine in the heart. Cause it's like, but I'm like, no, we're not going to take away from that. It's just like it's just going to give it more like opportunity to be read.
Are you doing that work to transition that magazine to app form every month?
No. So we have like a developer team, and it's super streamlined. It was a lot of work to like have all those meetings and stuff, and there's so much opportunity in that, and like in that space. And like a podcast is like people like to listen to it, they like to watch it, like, and the stories that are being told are what's the most important part of our magazine, I feel like. So I think that that's what I feel like the growth of media is, that it's always changing and that you're never going to get it perfectly. But if you do something to go into that step of what people want, then like you could just build off of that and like make it something else. Mm-hmm. And I think I was like, in 10 years, like people might be like against cutting down. I mean, people are against cutting down trees, but they might like, I'm not going to like buy this magazine. Like what if what if no one wants to do that? And I think another thing that was a big indicator on like media is like accessibility globally, because shipping is so expensive. Like to get the magazine to Raibu's family costs like $80. So I just figured that would be an easier way to let them read it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that take. Burtner, you guys are, Mervin's a big supporter of Slush, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to, you know, obviously you have reasons why you do that, and it would be interesting from a supporter's perspective to elaborate.
Personally or as a brand, or?
Yeah, you take it however you want it.
I'll just say personally, you know, it starts with the people. Good point. And Bridges is a person that of consequence for snowboarding. He is a distinguished gentleman, and he started in the trenches, chucking off Stemleron big airs and riding horrible half pipes in the East Coast, and just being exactly who he is now, but Borden. And anyways, I've been there the whole time, and just I love his position in the industry and just what he's done for the industry, and what a creator he is, what a fearless creator he is, and how he puts his ideas out and brings them to life fearlessly and pulls so many people in and has an ability to create culture around him. And so like I always just sort of cherish him and just wanted to support his projects, you know, and then, you know, that's on a personal level. And then all the people that he's pulled into this project so far have been amazing, and Katie's, you know, maybe the best example of it. And then yeah, like as far as like how we're represented in the media from like a Mervin standpoint, you know, we think that print still has its place, and even if you're talking about getting a potential somewhere between 2,000 and 5,000 eyeballs on the ad, it's like there's value to physicality still, and there's an end point to something beautiful that was worked on. Like the new issue has an Austin Sweeten ad. This is the first year Austin Sweeten had a pro model. It's called The Rig. It's amazing. Austin Sweeten has a pro model in snowboarding. That's great. And it just came together. I love the way the ad came together. His graphic is a turn one line down the base. And the photo that Zerman got is basically like one line through POW with an air in the middle. And it's just like, I don't know. It's like, how can you celebrate these photos if not here? And, you know, for the Snowboarders Journal, we do back covers of art. And it's like, it's just those moments to celebrate. And we don't want to lose too many of those moments to celebrate, you know? We don't want to throw everything into the digital river and have it just rush by. You know, we want to like go ahead and have a couple physical monuments.
What a fucking elegant explanation that was.
That was amazing.
And also, somebody might take that, put it on their wall too. Like I think about, I had ads. You go to my wall, my childhood room. It's just like ads, and JP Walker, forum ad on the wall or whatever, And it's what do you do with a photo on a screen?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not. It's like Katie said earlier. It's overwhelmingly positive that we're consuming just more snowboard. We have it everywhere at all times, but it has changed the dynamic so much that we're all picking up the pieces together here. We got run over, as did the whole world, by the internet and what it has done to our society. And it continues to run us over as a species. And we're all picking it up, and especially in snowboarding, something where you had just the one magazine. Maybe there was two, but it was like, everybody, come in here. Here's where we live. We live in this. We live, and then some videos, and we live in these, and here's everything. So let's just do that, And now it's like you have to go so wide. Like Katie's talking about how you have, we want what lives in the magazine to live on all these platforms. That's what I deal with too at Mervyn, a big part of my job. It's like you do one thing, you got to do 10 things. One thing is now 10 things, And it's like, I did one thing today, but like it went wide. But, it's not just, that pinnacle moment of like that, getting that ad in the mag or getting that video part.
Yeah, and I think for me, like growing up in New Jersey, I would have no idea what like snowboarding is if I didn't happen to do a contest that gave me a free like snowboarder subscription. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with this. Like put it all on my wall. And like I still get that feeling when I get the new mag in the mail where I'm like, yes, like look at my friend on the cover. Like you feel 12 again. And that is like such an important feeling that people are still having, I hope, as kids. And
I love the spectacle people are doing around covers again, that I think like Torment maybe really pushed to the forefront, possibly.
Yeah, the reveal underneath the blanket and they pull it off and it's Parker's face.
Yeah, and then, that one, but they've been doing that for years. Yeah. And everyone is sort of doing it now, to a different level. But it's just like fun celebration and ceremony surrounding something worth celebrating.
Maybe this is a dumb take, but there's a lot of them. But the one I'll say is like we're so lucky to still have Pat Bridges like still so involved in snowboarding, because I feel like he's been through every phase of snowboarding as a rider, as an editor, and everything like that. Like when I was coming up, I was so intimidated by him because he was the man that could literally put you in a magazine, give you a minor threat and all this stuff. But I think having somebody that's seen where snowboarding's been and where it's going, but still pushing some of the, I don't know how to say, but like a magazine, still having a magazine. Like we're not going to make a ton of money that way, but this is something that's a fixture that we still need to do, and I'll do whatever it takes to still put out a good product.
This is a good segue into a word that I think we actually have a question about it from a listener too, but I don't remember I could find who asked it, but it was in regards to gatekeeping, right? And that's an interesting term, right? Because if you look at how snowboarding was kind of forged, you came up through a DVD video, you came up through a magazine. In order to be in a magazine, you have to kind of go through the right channels and you have to be selected, and you're kind of like, this person's elite, this person's great. Magazines are here to celebrate great snowboarding, great stories, great people. And the lines are blurred now because there isn't that hub, right? So it's like everybody's their own channel. So if somebody's like that, films selfie videos on a chairlift, but it gets 1 million views, that analytically is more important than on an analytical standpoint. That's more eyeballs. That's worth more money monetarily, so to speak. But these, like the core hub, having people that care about snowboarding and quote unquote gatekeep, I think is important for keeping the culture like how we want it. The people that are in it love it, breathe it, care about it, obsess about it, and it's not just like people that snowboard that figured out an algorithm. You know, is there?
Yeah, that's a huge like conversation. You know, like when they have a how to do a board slide, and if you go Google that on YouTube, it's like millions of views on somebody that we're all much better at teaching somebody how to board slide, but because they've figured out how to, you know, the algorithm or whatever, they've, you know, taken that and ran with it. But I think what separates like snowboard media and from those people is like the integrity of like journalism and that idea that like you need to know what you're talking about to talk about it.
Good point. Yeah, and credibility. Yeah,
like that. Even though you can go out onto the internet and post something and get 1 million views, it's like but where's the credibility? And like at some point that's gonna phase out, or hopefully we get to a point where the credibility, we're in this weird flux where people don't know what's credible anymore. And I think that's part of the issue with, you know, the world right now is the power that everybody has in their voice. And, you know, using that power for good or whatever the case is. But that's where, like, you know, we're at where we're trying to build our credibility and be like, hey, you know, the person that's working on this has been in it for 25 years. But, and that's like part of what I'm trying to do is like tell that story, which is that you like, there is, you know, there's layers to this stuff that you don't just wake up one day and can teach and can, you know, make a living teaching people how to do board slides. Like you should be like really good at it. And snowboarding is just in like the grand scheme of the world, like so new that it's, yeah, well, I guess we don't know. Every day we're learning something new about how to cater to that audience.
I'm torn on it, to be honest with you, because part of me is I applaud those people who aren't a big name snowboarder that getting the views on doing turns, because like I feel like I can turn all right, and I'm not going to get that. So I'm like, they figured it out. They're doing what they love to do. So I applaud them for doing what they love to do. And there's somebody who, like, no offense, probably won't ever make it into the inner circle of snowboarding, right? Like, I know people who will never make a final at a Grand Prix, but, you know, they're getting paid maybe by some random off-brands. And, you know, to me, I'm like, good for you. You're getting it. But then I look at it, like, from the YouTube point of view where I look at, like, if you were to go skateboarding, right? You could type in how to do a kickflip. There's going to be 100 videos on there. But if you see one from, like, a reputable source, whether it's like a thrasher or an actual skater, you know that that's like the stamp of approval. So to me, I look at, like, if certain things back it, whether it's a company, the magazine, whatever it is, that's like official. But if you have some random person who's doing it, to me, I'm like, good for you. You found a way to monetize doing what you love to do. And I've always said this, I mean, I've talked about it a lot, like, my snowboarding is not for everybody, and I get that. My runs aren't for everybody. I get that. I do what I love to do, and that's the way that I want to snowboard. Snowboarding was always a rebellious thing, doing how you wanted to do it. So, like, me and Randy over here might look at snowboarding so differently, but I can still support what he's doing because that's what snowboarding is about. Do whatever you want, and if you just want to turn, cool. You want to ride POW, cool. Rails, cool. I don't care. We all have this love for snowboarding. It's all growing the brand. So that's how I look at it. It's when you're polling or you have a brand that comes in and, like, this is all we care about is analytics and not about the history.
Yeah,
and I had this with certain contests where it's like these brands come in, cool, we're going to pop up a tent, we're going to give away stuff, done, boom, we're out. Whereas I always looked at it as an organizer of something. You can take that company and use them as much as they're using snowboarding. Okay, we're going to allocate that money and help out in this way of snowboarding. They're going to pimp out, they want to be a part of snowboarding because it's cool. Cool, do that. You're using us, we're going to use you and get what we want out of it. And it's the same thing with the YouTube thing. But to me, I'm like, yeah, if Slush posts it, then that's got a heavy, like, cosign.
Yeah.
Bombhole posts it, not even just because we're here, but, like, heavy cosign. But if I see somebody else doing big numbers, like, I'm like, damn, like, homie was just with a 360 cam just doing turns and just got paid by YouTube on that. Like,
good point.
You know, like, that's what you love to do, and you found a way to make money at it because at the end of the day, you find a passion and make that passion your vocation and just work your ass off for it, and then you're doing what you love to do.
And it's helpful. I mean, it helps people like Slush and the Bomb Hole when there's more people like that doing it, because then you turn more people into snowboarders.
Exactly.
So it's like,
great point.
So I would never want to take away or like keep running those up. But I guess it makes us be better at what we do and adapt better, because then we have to be like, okay, we do need to make a how to do this video because we do know how to do this.
Well, when money's in short supply in the snowboard industry for athletes and stuff, and you see people making great money that weren't invited in by us, then you're like, well, let's get some of our people in there. You know, you see that happening in skating now. Like, they're like, whoa, like all these YouTubers are making full salaries that I'll never touch with my board royalty, you know, and then, or, you know, like, so why can we get some core guys in on this?
Yeah.
You know, Pedro Delfino, can he have a YouTube channel that generates money? And like Tom Asta, is his YouTube channel going to pop? And is he, you know, like, to name a couple, and I've seen a couple snowboarders starting to do this too, like Mark Solers and
Sage,
yeah. And Gimbal God obviously was talking a bunch about it. I think that's like, we've all been, you know, we have been talking to each other a lot, which is so fun. And in the meantime, all these other people came and started talking to the rest of the world. Yeah. And we're like, oh, wait a second.
Good point.
Yeah.
But I mean, you see it in like, even on the contest side, like so many coaches, and I've listened to coaches talking, and you're like, that's not right. Like what he did, like that person, that's not what they did wrong. This is what they did wrong. But it's hard at the end of the day. Like for me, I've been in halfpipe so long, I can't be like, hey, by the way, your coach has no idea what he's talking about. You know, you have to kind of push the people that you have the respect for, so the next gen can kind of go there, because being a coach, especially where the tricks are going, like not anyone can just go out and do it. I might not even be the best, even though I can do the tricks, somebody who really studies it. And so I think it's kind of on the industry, the people in the industry, to obviously be involved with Slush, be involved with them, and kind of branch out a little bit wider than what you used to be able to focus on just like magazine people. Now you kind of have to branch out a little bit more, so then everybody can kind of work together to get to the goal. I'm not saying go way out here, but you know, branch out a little bit more than just that core scene, because you need to hit the masses a little bit more still. Social media a little bit more.
Now I have an opinion here. Question. I'm just gonna throw this out there for debate, okay? And I don't have any answers. But we always talk about grow the sport, right? But like, if you grow the sport, there's gonna be more people at the mountain. Yeah. It's already crowded. Like, what if the sport was just okay how it was?
Well, unless we're talking about taking market share, Chris.
That's true. That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you're talking. Yeah,
we're talking market share. We could be taking some more skiers.
This is how I look. The skiing thing, is
good point. We got to take those skiers.
Before freestyle skiing was so big, if you wanted to be cool and do those tricks, you really needed to snowboard. Now they're like, well, I might have tried skiing growing up, and if I want to go hit jumps and ride a pipe, skiers are doing it. I don't have to switch over. Because I mean, I grew up skiing. When I was really little, and then switched to snowboarding, or getting the Burtner Riglet and those little boards out there more for people to try, and little kids to just stand there at the bottom of whatever mountain, and they can just push their kid on it for fun, and get them to see that they make these small snowboards where the little kid can just stand there, and then you can just pull them. But that's what I'm saying, and also just trying to maybe open it up a little bit more, growing the sport, whether not necessarily people buying stuff and like going to the mountain every single day and clogging it up, but bringing up the awareness of it, because that's going to bring up the dollars for every type of snowboarder.
You're right, though. I mean, the mountain's already clogged.
This is the thing. That is true. The other thing I think about snowboarding, it's pretty simple. Like, what do I need to go snowboarding and be happy? Give me a small hill, give me a rope toe, give me like 4 or 5 rails, give me a box, give me a medium-sized jump. I'll go there every single day. Yeah. I'll go there every single day. And maybe there's no money in the small rope tow resorts, but like that's what I grew up riding in Massachusetts, tiny little ski ward, and it was everything I needed. And so now like there's this movement for these like big ski resorts that have the ski condos and they got the ski restaurants and they got all the shit. Then it's fucking $250 for a lift ticket. But like, what about like I have no solutions and I'm doing nothing to like act on this, but I'm just talking out my ass, to be honest. But like, I would love to see that direction happen on a greater scale.
Well, the one thing I'll add though, back to the growing thing, because I agree, I love what they have in what is it, Finland? They have the rope tow there, and it's
Talma.
Everything you love in one little spot and just lap all night. But also like if you growing as well can be overseas, like in Europe, where ski racing's still up here and snowboarding is way down here as far as funding for the national teams and just what's acceptable and the brands that are involved. Like, I mean, it's very bureaucratic and archaic a lot in Europe as far as the federations go for contests, but there's so many brands that like you could be doing such cool stuff in Europe with, whether it's a luxury brand or whatnot, where the US you might crack into it a little bit more because we're open, but in Europe, it's ski racing above everybody else and snowboarding so low. So for me, it's even raising that profile is growing the sport, where what's accepted in Europe and they're just behind us as far as like, oh, snowboarder druggies don't do this, da-da-da-da-da-da. Ski racing, they're the athletes. But bringing that, growing.
And what gets the most
there.
views at the Olympics? Ski racing or snowboarding? It's freestyle snowboarding.
Yeah, snowboarding.
Freestyle snowboarding. That's what people tune into.
I think there is probably, I mean, we have to make reservations at Brighton now to get a parking spot, and even like split boarding and stuff. Ever since the pandemic, especially, you got to go farther and farther out to like get a open run because so many people are getting into it, which is like definitely a good thing when you think about the people sitting behind the desks and are marketing and working for these brands. But like growing the sport so I don't know what that answer is either. Like how many more people do we want on the mountain? But I think there's a way to like who is doing the sport. I think there's growth and opportunity there where, I mean, I even look at Slush's Instagram and it's basically like 93% 25 to 45-year-old men are our followers that actually tune in. So I don't know how many more of that demographic is going to turn into snowboarders because they probably already are snowboarders.
Good point.
So I think when you think about growth, it's like, okay, if we do want to grow, like we already are talking to that demographic basically. Like how do we talk to other demographics? How do we not talk to you guys?
Our demo is the same, by the way.
Yeah. Like that. I don't know if there's much growth in that. But I think that there's growth in like females and BIPOC and other individuals. But then I also think about people that don't have the most people in my family, if I took them snowboarding, they'd be like, not for me. Like, but it's those people that you get to try it, that it is for them. Like that is an opportunity for growth, like where it's just letting people experience it. And if they're hooked, then we get them hooked and then they're a snowboarder. But I think that that's where the growth can be, where it's like we take the people that maybe never had those opportunities to do it. And because I think most people, like most of my friends, they're like, no, like from New Jersey, they're like, nah, I'm not going to go snowboarding with you. Like I would rather go to the spa or whatever the case is. So I don't think if we are like, everyone needs to be a snowboarder, that's not even going to happen because it's very like, you're in the elements. You got to dress warm.
They give you the Michael Scott on that one? No, I don't want to go snowboarding.
Yeah, they're like, no. Why?
But I'd like to.
If I wanted to.
Yeah.
Great quote.
So I guess if it's just like, letting people try, and if they like it, then they like it. And I think that's an opportunity for growth.
You just got to keep the stoke alive at the end of the day for the kids coming up, because it's like, you got to keep people will fall off from snowboarding, not doing as much, and you got to keep the next generation coming. How can we make it better for those kids and kind of work out some of these kinks so it's better? Because, I mean, I look back now and I'm like, man, when I was coming up in snowboarding, that was so sick. And now I feel bad for these ones because I think it would, just from the magazines, like that's why I fan out on like old school pros if I've never met them, and I have the utmost respect for the people before me because to me, that was like, they were God. I mean, they were my Michael Jordan. I still say that Sean Palmer was the greatest athlete, not Michael Jordan, because he can do everything. But how can we help guide and make better for the younger generations? But we also need to educate them, I think, a little bit more to people in snowboarding on what came before them. Because it's amazing how little knowledge there is on
I have.
yeah, like snowboarding. It's just...
Yeah, it's cool. Like Hoods to Woods and all those foundations are doing chill. There's so much badass shit. There's cool shit happening in that.
Yeah,
direction.
that's what I'm saying. Is like, I think that's what we need to do.
One thing we got to talk about. We talked Slush for a second, but we got to talk about the most recent cover, Mikey LeBlanc, Ollie. I was at the unveiling party. It was very special.
That was special.
And you have Justin Meyer filming Fisheye, who gave everything he has in his being to snowboarding. You have Mikey LeBlanc, who has been in it. He's 50 years old, and he's olling down a huge set of stairs, and he's had most legendary video parts for, I don't even know how many, 20 plus video parts from, the 90s, and he's still doing it, and he cares about snowboarding. He's at Brighton launching cliffs every day. He's still getting after it. You got Bob Plum taking the photo, and it's like, I don't know. I just think that cover almost means more than just Mikey ollie in a set of stairs. It's just like people that have put their blood, sweat, and tears into snowboarding, and they like care about it, and they're the fabric at the core nucleus of like what's important. So I just wanted to rant about that.
No, that's just giving the praise where the praise is due, because it's iconic on such a deeper level than just a photo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the oldest cover combined age ever.
That's sick.
No, that's a common thing in our group text. But yeah, I think that's a good example of ways that we can celebrate the history of snowboarding, and that sticking around is going to pay off, and it's going to feel just as good when you're 50 as you do when you're 25. Like, you could get a cover if you stick around.
Yeah, Louie.
Louie.
Bucket list still from when I was a
Really?
little kid.
You never got one, Louie?
I came this close with the Colbert's photo for a photo album one year, Front 7 Japan, night shoot at Hood, but it wasn't.
How many covers you got, Burtner?
Not very many. Not like you.
I mean, at least we have a few. You know what I mean? At least we don't
That
have a
is
goose egg.
dope.
At least we're not sitting on zero. You know what I mean? That would be tough.
I got the one with Yosh that I wasn't even snowboarding on, but I'll take it.
That doesn't matter. It
And then I got
counts.
one in Japan.
The Ride Away landing one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's amazing. Though.
Yeah.
You were snowboarding. You just
I had been previously.
Let's throw. I want to know numbers. How many have you had?
I mean, I've the one that matters.
No, just give them
Is
to me.
Snowboarder Mag. I have a Snowboarder Mag, and that's like that was
Front board.
from board.
Was
Funny.
that in Anchorage?
Yeah, that was in Anchorage. Funny, you recently got EBD'd. Shout out.
Re-BD'd.
But you know what? It's fucking
And, like,
flattering because we,
Did you guys
kind of remind me that I did stuff back in the day.
Did
Yeah.
they give you the full big printout? Like
They surprised me in Chile when we were on a Solomon catalog shoot, and it was like I went to tears. It was like
that's sick.
it was like to me like it's actually cool to talk about this because it's actually thinking about it is like there was two real goals in snowboarding, like the way that we came up, and I was like, one day I can get last part in a video, and the other one was a cover, and then there is no more. There is not. I mean, I wasn't competing in X Games. Oh, the real snow changed that, but like, I wasn't going to win the Olympics or X Games. It was like, for me, that was it.
Yeah.
I was talking to Cannon Cummins the other day about this because I don't know if we talked about this before, but Genevieve and I had a list.
Yeah.
And it had like all of those things on it.
Yeah.
And I was like talking to Cannon about getting his list going because he got a checkout in, which is now called
Up next.
an Up Next in Slush magazine. And I was like, dude, you just checked one off the list. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, well, Jeno and I made a list. And it had cover, back cover, on deck or checkout,
Sick.
2-page spread, first part, last part, interview. And that was like the list. I'm like, I don't know what that is for you guys anymore. So, because Cannon was like, bomb hole. Is that one? I'm like, oh, that should be on the list.
Yeah.
And, then it was like, oh, there's going to be a new list. We just don't exactly know what it is,
Yeah.
Get retweeted by somebody.
Yeah.
It's like a whole different.
Viral on TikTok, viral on Instagram, viral on someone else's channel on Instagram with a collaboration, viral without a collaboration.
But Chris, like you said, like you make this for the viewers and not for necessarily your friends, but then it just shows the impact it has in snowboarding without you just being yourself and kind of branching out, is because Cannon's like, is that on the list? I want to do the bomb hole. Like, that's dope.
We should do a Cummins family.
That would be good.
Imagine
my
all
God.
three of them in here, round table.
Yeah.
And it would probably just turn into like bullying Cannon, I feel like.
Yeah.
Just like.
It would be Barrett prodding her husband and son to say things. Come on, guys. Let's talk.
That would be sick.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
I wonder though if brands are like, or I know looking back on it, Cannon's probably that's probably gonna be something that he can like hold and see and talk about. Like when he's like, oh, I got an up next, like look at it. But like you don't have that same feeling when you're like, oh, look at this like post that went viral like this one week.
No, it's seriously like, that's honest to God, real. Like, we've seen so much change in the media landscape, the actual what is a physical piece of physical media. And yeah, you like that whole platform might go away. The servers might get crashed. They might get wiped. I used to pay for Vimeo Pro. Then I stopped paying for Vimeo Pro. A bunch of my movies are gone.
Oh no.
They're on hard drives somewhere. The projects are like things I made, edits, that I didn't think I really needed to worry about. Or
Stevens is worried about where they are currently.
Stevens is sweating right now. He's looking for them. He actually has them all. Yeah, so I'm good. Stevens backs all my shit up. But no, like that could happen. That has happened. Mm-hmm. Look at Vine. Yosh is just stressing. All his Vines are gone, dude. Yosh is still crying over Vine. MySpace, no, but seriously.
Yeah, no, those are good examples.
Yeah.
Of very real things that went away.
Yeah, like they can go away, but like I have like all of those pictures in the mag like cut out in folders and stuff, and like, if I ever want to like relive the glory days, I'll flip through them.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know who really gives a shit about like the checkout and stuff is like luckily like my parents. They're just like I have like my first photos. They have them like in the basement, and they're just like, yeah, it's fucking cool,
Oh, dude, have you guys seen the trading cards?
I have seen those. Yeah.
I got a trading card, and Ollie loves it.
Really?
And he brought it to school and gave a bunch to his friends.
Sick.
And it was like, out of all the things that I've done, that was the one that hit him the hardest. Because it's like a Pokemon card, but it's his dad, And he's just like, oh, what?
I think those are cool too. It's just like, I don't know, it's just dope. Something that, like you said, holding something physical is just, you can't replace that. I've screenshot things on my phone if I like it, like, oh yes, like this person reposted me, whatever. Like, I think it's cool, but just to be able to see it because it's gone.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to cut to a call I had with Peter Line earlier this week talking about back rodeo philosophy. The inventor of the back rodeo, we had to get him on the line. So here it is. Here's the call. All right, we got Peter Line on the phone, and last week put together my top 10 back rodeo sevens on the gram, and I'm curious, there's a lot of debate about the back rodeo, whether if it needs to be fully flipped or if it can be kind of off axis. In particularly the back rodeo 7, what's your take on the flip factor?
Well, kind of when I guess you can quote invented it or first had the idea of how to do it. It was completely based off of frontside rodeo, which is kind of a Kevin Young, Daniel Frank thing, where they'd fully kind of go off their toes. Lean backboard goes up over their head, and so it'd be kind of, for spinning frontside, you're going off your kind of outside edge spinning. And so it was kind of the same theory with backside, where all backside spins were going off your inside toe edge to spin backside, but nothing was really being done off the heel edge on a backside spin, except for like how the frontside rodeo was going off the opposite edge. Because at the time too, like most riders are kind of spinning frontside off their toes, but not really going off into a rodeo. So at the same aspect, if you're just kind of going off your one edge and spinning flat, it's still frontside 3, frontside 7, or whatever it is. But to do a frontside rodeo, you're going off your toes still, but you're doing something different. And so that's kind of where I can see the rodeo being, you kind of got to go over it, kind of get your board over your head, kind of an off-axis spin, along the same lines as kind of the corkscrew being off-axis to create that, to be different than a backside 720. So I see the rodeos being having to be off axis. I dig a lot of the ways that since kind of started doing that when was it 97 or something like that, I remember. How other people have been kind of taking that and moving on with it. Especially kind of seeing Andreas's first ones too. Kind of I saw him as kind of be the first one to kind of start changing up how the rotation works in an awesome positive way, to a point that you might even be being considered a different trick. And so just for me to wrap that up, is the backside rodeo is just basically the front side rodeo but doing it the backside. And so going off the opposite edge, board kind of kicking up in front of you, and you're kind of pulling back on your body. So partial backflipish, sideways backflipish thing is kind of the way I see it.
Oh, it's great to go right to the source, Peter, and get your take on it. You know, I love how you explain it, and I think I'm like many other snowboarders that I know, like anything in the arena of kind of like falling backwards as you spin backside, we've always just kind of called a back rodeo 7. And I've also heard Andreas is called like the wig flip when you do it like that and stuff like that. So I don't know where we're going to go with this.
First of all, I mean, yeah, you can call it whatever you want, wig flip, but I've always hated any sort of term where you call something a flip or there's a rotation going on. And there's a back flip, which is a full-on is back flip. And then kind of the other thing with the misty flip, well, I didn't really kind of like that. And even the trick kind of indicates that too. When I kind of first saw people doing the misty flip opposed to like a corkscrew, it looked way more kind of flippy with like a spin later on, opposed to it all being kind of one trick. And that's kind of what my kind of theories were of doing these tricks. I hated doing backflips because I just thought it was kind of a juvenile trick that people like cheer over, who don't really know how easy it is, type of a thing. I mean, obviously depending on the situation, but just anything with a flip in its name and not being unless it's just a backflip 180, type of a thing. I just didn't really like that name, and so I kind of came up with different terms for these things. By the way I was doing is being just kind of one rotation flip at the same time, opposed to being one thing into another thing, to where like Ingelsman, I think, always gets brought up. He wasn't really doing anything similar in the kind of the off-axis spinning when he did that. He's doing kind of some backflips and stuff like that. Same thing with the Michael Chuck. Like when you look at him ride in the half pipe, you see him do his Michael Chuck in the pipe. It's like, oh, that's like a backside rodeo. But then you see him ride normally. All he did was backflips at the time. And so all he's doing was a backflip in the half pipe. And that's, kind of how I learned how to do it in the half pipe too. It's like, oh, this kid just does backflips. Just do a backflip on the backside wall. It's like, oh, okay, that's what it was. Backflip on the backside wall is what a Michael Chuck was, even though it looked like a backside rodeo on a backside wall in a pipe. I forgot what your original question was, but I went off on my little tangent.
No, this is a great tangent. So what would you call, for example, Andreas's or Travis Kennedy's?
So yeah, I was looking at both those two on your guys' gram, and Murphy's flip is a whole other story over there, because I know he was going for a backside rodeo, but it just ended up kind of spinning off his heel edge, going flat, and then kind of being a little bit off on his back 7 or back rodeo 7, but he just kind of spun flat. But then also started tipping him at the end of it, and he came around, stuck it. I don't even know how long he stuck it for. Not to be a shit talker. Not be a shit talker, but a lot of Murphy tricks are kind of cut quick because he didn't stick it completely, even though it's a cool ass trick. I forget that one, but anyway. So yeah, Andreas's and Travis's, it's like a heel side back 7, but they do kind of go into the rodeo, just not quite as pitched, I guess. It's not quite as off axis. I dig it because it is more spin and less kind of just a flip type of thing, like a back flip with a 360 at the end, which I wouldn't consider a backside rodeo. But what they do is kind of going into the backside rodeo. They don't flip as much, but a lot of times jumps create the, do a flat takeoff. It's harder to get upside down type of things scenario. But I can also just see it kind of being a variation between the two. So who knows?
So you don't have a name. You don't. What's your take? Like, let's just take Travis Kennedy's for example. Is that would you say that's a backside rodeo or that's not a backside rodeo?
I would say it's a Travis's backside rodeo, because if he does a backside 7, he would do it differently, and so he went off his heels. It does kind of pop your body in front of your board to create the momentum instead of your just kind of standing here on the carpet now, picturing it. You kind of throw your back into the spin to create the backside spin, to where on a backside 720, you kind of throw it forward and kind of around your,
Yep.
You lean forward to do a backside 720, you kind of lean backwards to do a backside rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're kind of leaning backwards. It's just not quite as much as the way I was doing them.
Now,
so it's the same process. It just didn't quite, you can even say it didn't quite commit, but I wouldn't say that necessarily, because they're both sick. I mean, if I could have done it that way as well, I would have done it that way as well. Just kind of, I would have considered it two different tricks when going off the jump. Like, if I want to do it this way, I would do it this way. If I want to do it their way, I would, consciously know to be doing it another way. And so one kind of aspect of thinking there is like, is that the only way they do it, or do they do it both ways? And if they do it both ways, then it's kind of a new trick. But if they just do it that one way, then that's how they do their backside rodeo.
Mm. It's interesting. It seems like the grab affects the axis too, because if you notice, like when you for example go melon, I think causes people to generally just go into a little bit more of a flip, whereas you look at a lot of the people that do the backside rodeo 7 indie, and naturally it's a little bit more of like look over your shoulder, like look a little around your shoulder, fall backwards, as opposed to full, dump off the lip.
Yeah, I mean, that just might be the way they learned it, and then in that kind of rotation, it does not flip you as much. But I've done it mute, towards very similar, where you reach forward to get your board, so your board's not quite as behind you, and it still got me really upside down. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's just their commitment of how they do it, of going kind of more upside down off the takeoff, or less upside down off the takeoff.
Cool. Wow. Well, I love it. I almost think that the flat ones.
It's basically, yeah. I mean, it's like basically if you're going off your back heel, you're going to flip more. But if you kind of go off your middle to front heel, you're not going to flip as much. And so a lot of those ones just kind of go off their heel, kind of between their bindings a little bit, which is not going to flip them as much unless the takeoff's really kicked.
Yeah. Cool. I love talking trick nerd with you, Peter. It's really fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's still, like, in that whole kind of theory of things, okay, you go off your heel edge, go off your kind of back binding, go to backside rodeo, go off your front edge. What if you kind of did the whole kind of backside rodeo dip, like an underflip of sorts? Like, no one really does that. I mean, you start going in Marcus Cleveland territory, where you kind of do the nose pop and all that stuff too. Like, I did, like, at the end of my kind of career, playing around with that type of a thing, where you kind of go off your heel edge, backside rodeo, but kind of go underflip over your nose type of a thing. But I was kind of end of my career, so I didn't really go too far with it. But there's something there as well that I don't see people doing. Or if I see it every once in a while, but it almost looks like it's not necessarily intended, or it's just kind of dorking around. But those dork around tricks are the tricks that you just push and develop, and those create the next big trick possibly. So for the kids out there who want to start doing some new tricks, like, just watch Marcus Cleveland, how he's taking off some of those jumps, because that's kind of the future I see of snowboarding, to where it looks kind of weird and sketchy right now, but the way he's doing is pretty sick. And then just the development of where that can take you to the next trick, to the next trick, to the next trick is where the kind of future starts going. And like all of a sudden, all like the normal backside 720s off your toes or front side 720s off your heels flat might just kind of look stock after a while. Or just the normal takeoffs to where you just have to start taking off these weird nollies and butters and all this other stuff to get these weird different pops and different rotations in the air.
Wow. Beautiful. A lot of wisdom. I love it. I love it. So yeah, do you think that, I mean, you just answered my question, but it seems like it's obvious that people are pushing it in rotations, but it seems like if the judges would start rewarding the off axis, like the weird axes more, then it could help out the direction of where we're heading. Would you agree?
I think judges kind of have that awareness there. I mean, there's going to be like the 1800s versus a double front side rodeo weird thing that Marcus Cleveland does that might just turn out to be a 1440 or something like that. To where like, damn, like if no one's doing this weird takeoff of a 1440 double cork, but everyone's doing 1800s, like you'd think that the trick that most people can't do should be the one awarded the most, whether the new one in the contest. I mean, it's kind of like the same thing as when I first did the backside rodeo 5 at Aaron Style. They didn't even know what it was, and I lost to a cab 5 just because the judges didn't know what it was and just thought it was a backside 5 corkscrew that I've done before. And so they're like, oh, okay, that's just a normal trick. But then they didn't realize and apologized to me later because they didn't really understand what was going on. So as long as the judges are knowledgeable of what's going on, they should have an understanding that some new trick that's difficult that other people can't really do or aren't really doing should get that, extra points, even if it is a less rotated one than what everybody else is kind of doing.
Wow.
That said, I'm not dissing on one more rotations because some of these multiple rotations still look really good. It's just when they start looking bad is when it looks kind of silly. But these, 1800s look pretty sick when they're doing them. So I'm pretty stoked in that too.
Amazing. Well, cool, Peter. Thanks for taking the time and wrapping out with us real quick. We're going to get back to the show, but I really thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom. It's been a blast.
No problem. Love you guys. Call me up anytime I get bored.
All right, Peter. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, later, buddy.
All right, thanks. See ya. Love hearing Peter talk trick philosophy. I know you're a bit of a philanthropist, a trick philanthropist yourself.
A philosopher?
A philosopher.
Yeah.
I'm actually not entirely sure what a philanthropist even means. Somebody that donates to charity a lot?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so, okay. Well, yeah. One and the same. One and the same. All right, let's get into some more hard-hitting topics here. I think this would be interesting. This one's for Jesse. Top 5 stances. And maybe you could preface on what a stance is.
I mean, I don't have those at the top of my head, but a stance is a really wide stance.
It's not a stance; it's a stance.
And maybe you could say like it could be a narrow one too, but that'd be more like a stance.
A stance. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But top number 1 stance of all time has got to be Shaun White.
Yeah, that's a given.
25-inch.
Yeah, 25 and a half, according to Bud Keene, I believe.
Yeah, and just bucking all trends with his against the entire industry wide. He just went the opposite direction and just kept getting wider and wider.
And then we got, thinking about Austin Granger, circa 2005. That was a stance.
Oh yeah, I mean that was maybe 26, but I mean through the history of time.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I mean, geez. And then you got to go back to Summit County and talk like J2 and like some of those guys, Tarquin maybe.
OG, those are some OG stances.
Yeah, even Adam Merriman, he's a pretty tall guy, but he would have a big stance.
Got to T-bolt that.
Yeah, T-bolt only.
Yeah, for the listeners that aren't familiar with T-bolting, it's so you have your bolt pattern, and then if you want to make it wider, you would put extra inserts that you drill in from the bottom. and then you P-tex underneath it so you can make your stance wider. And that's how you get a true stance. It's got to be off the
I always wanted
bolt
that,
pattern.
but I was too short to ever need it. But I always thought it was like so sick if someone T-bolted their
It
stance.
was like a thing. It was like if you weren't T-bolted, it was like you weren't cool for a couple of years there.
All right, we got another question. This one is from Xander McDaddy. Shout out. You guys got any preseason rituals you do to get ready for the season? Burtner?
Well, my number one preseason ritual is to watch all the snowboard videos. And like it's such a fun time of the year to do that. And then another part of that would be like getting with a crew to talk about it. Mainly Scott Stevens. We always try to meet up every year and just have like this video like dive in together. And we had a little bit of that this year. He came up to skate, but it's been more text back and forth. But we used to just go to the snowboard shop and they'd have all the movies and we'd split. Like, I'll buy these two, you buy these two, or 3 and 3 or whatever, however many we could possibly buy. And then we'd go back to the crib and just binge all the vids and just talk about them. That's the fall ritual.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year I feel like I'm just trying. My ritual is just to like work as much as I can and work out as much as I can. I'm actually going to PT, and yeah, they told me I have a 50-year-old knee too. But usually, you know, when you get your new snowboard, me and my friends will like customize them, like make funny like cut out stickers, write funny things. Last year we were like painting on them and putting like glitter, like glue glitter. Basically kind of just like have like a little silly times with your friends in your new gear. Sometimes I'll just get in my new gear and like and carpet board for a while. Yeah, that never gets old. Every year that we get our new boards, we always just like open them in front of each other and pass them around and stuff. Yeah, and I guess bone zone and like little jibs is like something that we do all the time. The first mini jump is always like super fun. It's like trying to flip different ways. But yeah, this weekend I guess will be like the first powder day is pretty good ritual to have.
Mm-hmm. What about these Katie Kennedy stickers?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We still are they gone, or are we gonna get a couple? Or?
I do have them. I have even like a sister that's 7 years younger than me and doesn't really know much about snowboarding, but knows I love it. And a while ago, she made me these stickers that says "Katie was here and crushed it," and it's like me doing a hand plant.
Oh my god! I have no stickers on my board.
Yeah, I did.
You're gonna give me. It's gonna go on my board.
Yes, I have like 100 of them that I kind of forgot about. Maybe it was 3 or 4 years ago. I was a little embarrassed maybe to be posting about them, but I found them recently. I was like, I got to run these up.
Yeah.
What a great supportive sister.
Yeah, she's
Major
super
shouts.
supportive. Yeah.
Louie, what do you got?
Are we talking now or when I was little?
Either one.
Because
However
I feel like we kind of went like...
Yeah, you went sauce fay. That's your normal shit.
Sauce fay,
hard-boiled eggs.
Hard-boiled eggs, gym. Try to plan out the winter, but no, just kind of hang out here. I mean, Utah's got so many good resorts, so I went Woodward Park City and go even hit any of those little rails. I've been to the Bone Zone with Grundy's because I needed to have someone kind of gatekeep and let me in, so that worked out. And then
he served up a front blunt 4/5 commish on the rail too.
I know. I think I got a shot with Ted. He never sent it to me, so I just used the iPhone clip. But I tried to bring that one back the other day. It didn't work out. I needed the motivation of the cool guys there. But then, like, Dustbox showed up, and I was like, yeah, I'm out. Like, I saw Warbs and Robbie. I was like, that's just too... I'm going to get made fun of. I'll end up on the Jibbing is Dead thing, probably.
You probably would have ended up in the Dustbox vid.
You might have, yeah. They could use a vibe like you in their vid.
I mean, I'm a big fan. But
I didn't
anyways,
even mention the Dustbox vid. Also,
Yeah.
shout out. That's fucked up. That video's great.
I don't care what Dustbox puts out. It doesn't even matter what I'll watch it. It's just they have this aura, too, about them. Like, they're just cool. I'm like, damn, I wish I was cool like you guys. But no, just like ride, get the body ready, try to stay healthy going into the season. But yeah, we ride in October, sometimes in November, like at a camp. But if I'm not, I'm at the gym.
Shout out Excel Fitness.
Excel Fitness, that's my spot. I got told it was the influencer gym the other day, and I was like, not because of me. But I mean, I like just to try to ride. Bone Zone and like Woodward Park City are fun for me because I don't really kind of get down on like rails, but they're already small. so it's a little bit better. And I want to go to Brighton this winter, or I want to go to Brighton soon and ride, but I got my Brighton starter kit. Got the Dane goggles, the Hal kit, Hal gloves. Friends with this guy. I'm pretty much good to go at Brighton now too. So
Is he good to go?
Yeah, he's good to go.
Dude,
Yeah.
did you just hear my kit that I had? Of course I'm good.
Dude, let me tell you something. You pull up with Louie Vito, you're all set. This guy took me snowboarding with Steve Aoki one time. And then, and I had no idea who he was. Then we went to his concert and he had a full private tour bus thing, and we're hanging out on it. And like, look, Louie's not with me. I'm with Louie. Let's get it straight here. Let's be honest. But yeah, going to preseason ritual too. I like to go to the spot with. I had an awesome one this year with JP and Jeremy and Seth and Wiz. It was a pretty fucking heavy crew and really fun sesh. But I've been doing this thing lately where I count my reps. Maybe I've been on my Louie gym shit, where you got your list or whatever that you got to get through. And so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do 25 reps, and I'm not gonna stop till I do 25 reps. So I just didn't matter what I did: front board, back board, front lip, back lip, switch front board, whatever. And you go down the line, and I might do like 3 switchboard slides or something, but it doesn't need to be any structured. But it makes you not stop, because how sometimes you stop, you get paralyzed, and you're like, and you may only hit it 10 times. It's like, nah, and then it's like anything. The more reps you get, the better you feel on your board. And yeah,
those clips that you all got were, I feel like in the beginning of the season, I'm so much more prone to be like, I want iPhone clips, and you put these little edits together. I guess that's kind of a ritual. Is like, you're putting together new little clips in the beginning of the season, but by like February, I'm like, don't even take the iPhone out. Who knows what's going to happen? So that's always a cool thing about the beginning of the year, because me and my friends are all like psyched to be out there again, that we're like, film this, or I'm going to follow you on like things that maybe we wouldn't normally. So yeah, I love the feed on this time of year of just people getting back after it.
Grandies, your preseason ritual is such a flex. Like, it's just insane. Like, I go to the spot. Okay, that's check one. JP and Jeremy, Seth, throwing like Wiz, they're like, okay, that's a check. It's like, and then multiple times I'm like, damn, there's a lot of people, including myself, listening, like, that's just preseason. That's not even like the year yet. Like, just mellow, just go out with the boys.
We're talking about practice.
I've known those guys for a long time. There are people who have never been to the spot.
Let me tell you something. This is how it works. We get up early because we're old. So it's like I want to get up there before the kids, because, when Coop and the Dust Box show up, bad day to be a piece of steel. Let me tell you that. Bad day. So, I like to get up there with the old guys. We're back down. We're back down at the truck by noon. Or whatever.
I was telling Katie that about Woodward Park City. She's like, "Oh, you live here? Like, where do you?" I'm like, "Oh, I go to Woodward Park City, but I'm gone before all the cool people show up. Like, you guys get there later. Like, I'm out. I'm like 9 to 1, 10 to 2 ish, and then even then, it's like the cool kids coming off the mountain. They're coming up to Woodward Park City. I'm out. Like, I'm gone at that point. You guys go destroy it. I'm stick with what I've done.
You got to film with a Dust Box. We should mesh these generations up together,
I mean, one of my biggest flexi, it's not Dust Box, but Warbs I've known forever too, but like Nick Baden, I'm a big Nick Baden fan. And so when he's like got his posse and he comes up and says, "What's up?" I'm like, see
Feels
that?
good.
Still got it.
Still got it.
Yeah.
But I have a folder of the younger kids, the cool kids when they were younger, that took photos with me.
Okay.
So if they ever get too cool or start talking smack, I drop the photo.
Yeah, that's smart.
So I got a couple of them.
Like an appearance, get a photo with Louie Vito.
But I'm like, you guys are gonna talk smack. We took a photo together when you were a little kid, and that
almost
would
like
ruin
a
your
Santa
image.
Claus type thing.
Yeah, so
it's a little bit of a blackmail. It's like you're blackmailing them, basically.
Yeah.
You're like, I have this.
Exactly.
This could
but
ruin
they've all
your
been
career.
cool. For the record, they're all like.
I want to talk about hard-boiled eggs for a second. Let's talk hard-boiled, because
I almost brought some.
Because this guy, like, if you ever hung out with Louie, he's just mysteriously he's pulling out hard-boiled eggs all over the place. It's unbelievable. Like, he's got and so much so that, what do you do when you fly? Tell him about the flying ritual.
No.
Well, I have a hard-boiled egg. Like, I call it my egg briefcase, because it's like this plastic one. It's yellow, but it's got a handle, so you can straight up just roll with it. Like, if you didn't want to put it in your backpack, you can roll with it like a briefcase. So I keep that in my bag. So, but now that I'm a little more conscious of the people around me, I'll go to the bathroom in the plane, and I sit there, put my legs up because I'm short, so I got plenty of room.
Oh my God.
Lay like a paper towel on my lap, and then I'll crack them there so it doesn't stink up the plane. Yeah, and then I get it in.
Louie, I think we might be kindred spirits. I have a weird hard-boiled egg obsession too. There was like
that weird.
I mean,
you eat them in bathrooms?
Yeah. No, not that weird.
I was gonna say,
crying in an airplane bathroom.
There was like the heat wave in Portland, Oregon. It's like 105 degrees.
Setting up nicely.
Me and Emma Crosby, Jill Perkins, Desiree, we're all crammed in the basement. No, she has no air conditioning at Desiree's house. I decide I'm hungry. I'm going to make some hard-boiled eggs. And everyone is like disgusted in me. Like it just smells like hard-boiled eggs in our hot space.
I can understand that then.
So anytime I'm like, remember that time it was so hot? And they're like, yeah, when you cooked 12 hard-boiled eggs and ate them for the next 3 days.
You got to get the hard-boiled egg cooker.
Oh, wow.
It's like $20 on Amazon. It's just like this little circle, and it's got a dome, and you can place like 6 eggs. And then it's how much, there's like a measuring cup that comes with it. So if you want it like soft boiled, medium boiled, whatever, just fill it up, press the button, and then it, like an alarm goes off. You take it out, put them under cold water, you're good to go. You don't even have to watch water boiling.
Sell me on this hard boiled egg obsession.
I call them pocket eggs. I went through a pocket egg phase. But now I know there's a briefcase.
I'm not going to lie, I did that too. And my funniest thing I'll tell you right now, not really many people know this, but when I used to go out like in LA a bunch, you know, I eat every 3 hours. So I'm like, okay, it's, you know, like 8:30. I'm going to have to eat in 30 minutes because I like to eat at 9 or whatever it was. So I had one in a Ziploc bag in my pocket. So we go out to the club in LA. I'm like, it wasn't there very long. I'm like, okay, I got to get my egg in. So I went to the bathroom. Exactly. Just because I don't want to like.
People are doing lines. You're feeling
That's
an
what I'm
egg.
saying. So the guy like got all weird. Like I think a security guard like literally thought I was doing that. I'm like, no, man, I'm just eating a hard-boiled egg. There's no snow bumps over here. Like I'm just having a hard-boiled egg, enjoying myself, get the protein in.
So can we get like a lesson in chemistry here? Is there like, are you getting a perfect peel every time?
No, I mean, it depends on, like, if they've been through the ringer, you know, like flights and car rides, fridge, car
That's
rides.
affecting the peelability?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So sometimes it also depends on the hurry. If I'm just, like, savage, you know, I'll just whatever again.
Yeah. I was thinking a guy that eats that many, you know, would just...
I wish I was, like, the one where you could blow and pop it out.
Yeah.
That one's G.
Yeah.
I think that it's just like... It's just quick protein, and it's like... It's
60 calories.
Low carb.
Yeah. If you're just eating to live... You just a couple hard-boiled eggs.
Salt?
No, I don't do that.
Salt?
No,
I eat it in one bite too. Most of the time.
You could do
Did
that
you bring
while
your
dancing.
briefcase here?
I was going to for the props because I was like, just drop the briefcase.
So no salt?
I mean, it depends on if sometimes I hard boil them and like put them with other vegetables, and I'll do like hot sauce and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, if I'm pocket egging it, like I'm in the backcountry,
I would pocket salt too, just personally.
Yeah, pocket salt with the pocket egg,
No, I
with
do
the
the
pocket
hot
hot sauce.
sauce.
Yeah.
Hot sauce
is key.
I'm a pocket platter guy. So
This fall, I've just been like trying to cook things that I think would be good to bring in the backcountry. Like I'm like, oh, I got to get good at rolling sushi because that'll be a sick one.
Oh yeah.
I'm just trying to think because I'm always hungry out there.
Egg briefcase.
Yeah. Now I know about the briefcase move.
Do like the onigiri, like the full triangle wrap.
Yep, that's what
That's dope at the pipe. Like a lot of the Japanese, like whether it's the PT or a mom, like they'll bring up the rice balls and be like, oh, Louie, here you go. I'm like, this is the best day ever. I'm gonna be doing triples pretty soon, just eating what they eat. But yeah, that's money on the mountain.
Yeah.
What about, I got a question from Jack T. Bunnell. He wants to know, can Louie still dance?
Well, I remember after Dancing with the Stars, we'd be at like Cecilia's and Breck, and for those people who don't know, it's the club in Breckenridge. And people would be like, come dance. I'm like, I don't dance. And they're like, we saw you on Dancing with the Stars. I'm like, okay, when they drop some ballroom music, then you'll see me hit the dance floor. Like, we didn't learn hip-hop over here. But I could probably, if I had someone that knew what they're doing, I could probably get down. But these hips are still pretty tight, so they don't move like they used to. I have like a 21-year-old. 35, not stretched out.
All right, Silk, let's hit Nitro Turbo Takes.
All right.
Welcome to Nitro Turbo Takes.
Brought to you by Nitro Snowboards and Canoe Eliason.
Nitro Snowboards has been building snowboard products, boards, boots, and bindings for over 34 years, and has one simple mission: to inspire people to get out and go snowboarding and support their local and global community by supporting the shops, the organizations, and the people who are dedicating their lives to this. Snowboarding is what got us here, and giving back to snowboarding is what keeps us here. The deeper the layers, the better the cake. Just like the snowboarding community, this season, Nitro is releasing a 2-part film project, Layers: The Unintentional Culture of Snowboarding, a full-length 80-minute documentary exploring the different layers of the snowboard community around the world. And Cake, a classic get hyped to go boarding with your friends kind of action film, starring the infamous Nitro Snowboard team. Premieres are happening worldwide, and both films are premiering online November 15th, so we'll see you there.
These are kind of rapid fire questions, so you can elaborate, but keep it tight.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You guys copy that?
I need
Tight like Louie's hips.
Exactly. Keep it tight like Louie's hard-boiled egg obsession, and also Katie's as well.
Yeah, we just became best friends over hard-boiled eggs.
Now I know what you were doing in the bathroom earlier.
This is why we're sitting by each other. We're actually sharing them underneath the table.
We're all muscle, basically.
Yeah,
you look over here.
You guys look good. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, whatever you're doing is working.
Yeah.
All right, these questions are all submitted by Knut Eliasson. Big shout out, Knut. All right, yeah, rapid fire. Keep it quick. Don't explain it. Nobody wants to know. Just keep it quick.
Question.
Yes.
Are one of us going to answer each question?
Yeah, they're all directed to you.
Okay.
Everyone's got a couple questions.
Copy.
All right. Jesse, how do we get more snowboarders to wear helmets?
More snowboarders wear helmets than more snowboarders wear helmets.
Okay.
Pro snowboarders.
If you go ahead and sponsor a kid on your team, wear a helmet, and don't pressure him to take it off.
All right. Louie, X Games Gold or Dancing with the Stars first place?
I mean, for the brand or my career as a whole, not as a snowboarder, Dancing with the Stars, but X Games Gold was pretty good for my passion and the love I have for snowboarding.
Kind of dodged it a little bit.
You did it again.
That wasn't even intentional.
You got to pick one.
Dancing with the Stars.
Respect.
I got a couple X Games Gold, so it don't matter that much.
Favorite video you've seen this year?
Oh.
Good luck.
Dun, dun, dun. Ooh. I mean, I like the Ride movie, I would say.
All right.
Great choice.
Jesse, what was your first snowboard shop, and what is your current favorite snowboard shop?
First snowboard shop was Borderline up in Alaska.
And your current favorite?
Blue and Gold. And Borderline, which is in Juneau now, but Jason Borgstead started Blue and Gold in Anchorage.
All right, Katie, how will people buy and support the snowboard community in the future?
Buy and support?
Yeah.
I think just more people snowboarding is probably going to help everybody. So the more people we can get snowboarding, and I think that there's a lot of people that snowboard that maybe don't consider themselves like snowboarders. So making it opening up the community to convert them to maybe going a couple of times a year to buying a season pass and going all the time and listening to the Bomb Hole and subscribing to Slush and just becoming more of involved. There's room for everybody.
Love it. Chris, what's your go-to chairlift snack?
Oof. I've been on No Snack November, so I haven't been eating snacks, but it's normally on. Normally, it's a bag of candy and like some snooze. I hate to say that. That would probably be
kind of candy?
Not a hard-boiled egg.
Not a hard-boiled.
What kind
egg.
of candy though?
If I was gonna go candy, I mean, I'd probably go like either Mike and Ike's or Haribo's or Sour Patch Kids.
Classic.
Or like a salad of the three.
Yes, or all three mixed together
Louie,
with a hard-boiled
How many
egg.
super pipes are in the world?
Well, this is a tough one because like at one time.
Right now.
Oh, right now there's probably 3. China, Sauce Fe, unless they tore that one down, and Kitzsteinhorn that are built right now. Coppers isn't built yet.
What
China,
about Midwinter?
Midwinter, you have Copper, Woodward Park City, Locks, Mammoth, Buttermilk Aspen, and Crons, Montana will build one normally in the spring. So I said Mammoth, yeah, like 7, 8, probably midwinter.
All right, Jesse, will LibTech ever make a 1 foot specific pro model board for you?
No.
If they did, would you have a specific dream 1 foot trick to land on it?
I mean, I've got dream 1 foot tricks for sure. But yeah, I've got dream 1 foot tricks.
Let's hear one.
Well, I always said that if I did a Cav 9 1 foot, which I'm pretty sure I could have done at one point, but I never got around to it or bit off that much, that I always dreamed of doing the Cav 9 1 foot. Let's say we're filming, landing and riding all the way out. We're at Turnagain in my dream, all the way down to the car. Pretty much, you got to walk across the flat, putting my board in the truck, going to the airport, going to fly to Hawaii, pick up Pika and Ollie and go to Hawaii. That's my dream. Like,
that is a very niche dream.
Very specific.
it's like sick to think about, like landing a trick and like running it out to Hawaii. Like the landing continues until you're on a beach.
I don't know if that's been done yet.
Yeah, exactly.
That's NBD. That's
yeah.
NBD.
So like that was sort of.
I'll be looking forward to this next year at this time when we do a video recap, clip recap for that clip.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I'm gonna bite that off. That's not really in the realm anymore. But
I believe.
But you know, like Bodie would have done that trick by now if he was like a fakey 1 foot guy. But he's
You
not.
know, if you start eating hard-boiled eggs, you might potentially have a chance
Cheat
to
code.
do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem is I'll just keep eating everything else and just add hard-boiled eggs.
Still extra protein for
I
you.
don't know if it's effective like that.
Yeah.
All right, Katie, social media, is it good or bad for snowboarding?
I think it's good. I mean, it's good that I wish that it was more relevant when I was a kid, because you would just get more inspired by what other people are doing. And I think anything that's that good and that addictive is bad. So you just have to manage that personally. But for the greater good of the sport, it's definitely great.
All right. Louie, how would you convince a kid to start riding half pipe today?
I think just would explain how much it's going to help your overall snowboarding in general. Most half-pipe riders can hit jumps really well. A lot of them can hit rails pretty well. I think you see more pipe riders that can ride everything than other aspects of snowboarding into the half-pipe. Now, there's exceptions. So I would say it's just to overall round out your snowboarding, your edging, that helps in all areas.
I like that. Katie, what's missing from snowboarding right now?
What's missing? My questions seem like
hard
very,
hill.
very.
No pressure on
I'm
that,
just the
man.
messenger, guys.
Yeah, just a little. What's missing in snowboarding? I think more trips for me to go to Baldface.
That's a great answer.
Great answer.
Yeah.
That's kind of a running joke because that's always my goal. I think
Everyone's goal.
I think that what's missing in snowboarding is maybe like more like accessibility and programs for people to try it, and like maybe even just like the indoor slope that's going down in New Jersey. I wouldn't be surprised if there's definitely going to be some new pros that probably would have never been able to snowboard before. So if there's a way to create more opportunities like that, I think that's missing. And this is kind of like a broader topic for something that I deal with personally, but or not personally, but I think like more women in snowboarding on the internal side is something that I feel like is missing, since I talk to all these brands and it's usually guys and love them. But it would be cool to like mix it up and see what like a woman marketing manager could bring to the table. So yeah, I feel like that's missing from the internal side.
All right.
That's a great answer.
Yeah. Jesse, who would win in a mini slope style contest right now? Mike Olson or Pete Sorry?
Oh wow, this would be really fun to watch.
So this is explain who those people are for the layman's.
So yeah, Mike and Pete are the founders of Mervin Manufacturing, GNU and LibTech, and they both shred a lot. But Oh man, I've seen Mike do a front 270 on a box. I was about to say he doesn't like get down in the park very much, but I've actually seen it go down. But Pete's a little more freestyle focused. He gets out there a little more, so I'd give a slight edge to my man Pete. Sorry on that one.
All right. This is a all play scenario right here. Nose press or tail press?
Nose. Tail press.
Can do tails easier, but noses would like to do.
Wait,
better.
is this for us or is this what I'd rather see?
Rather see.
You can do both.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Okay, for see, okay, I'm going to clarify that because I don't have a great nose press these days, but I really like good nose presses.
I'm definitely tail press. Love the tail press.
God,
Desiree.
it feels good.
Desiree
doesn't it?
tail press.
Doesn't it just when you kind of pop into that thing?
I love a pop a wheelie.
As we're all like, you know, ambidextrous riders, do you feel like switch nose presses?
No.
Like, or like, there's no correlation?
No, not for me.
I mean,
You've got them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got switch frontside nose press. Good.
yeah, I've got them.
Yep. I can't say the same.
No
Yeah,
correlation.
got it.
I mean, I haven't done very many grand ones down big rails or anything, but yeah.
All right, we got one more question, kind of tying in a topic from earlier. This is another all play scenario. Is forward lean outdated?
Oh,
We kind of covered that.
Outdated? Yeah,
I don't think it's outdated. I think it's good. It keeps your knees bent, keeps you able to attack the mountain. I think it's a good thing.
Gives you more options, you know?
More opportunity.
Yeah, more options. We're all here for that.
a lot
Options.
of people ride a ton of forward lane.
Northwest,
No.
especially in the Northwest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're cranking all the way up to 4 every dirty. All the Baker riders, you know. So it's very much
That's the
happening.
selling point right there for why you should run forward lane.
Yeah.
Baker people run it, the Lokes, that's good to go.
Yeah.
All right, we got a question. Is that all of them? So,
That's it.
okay, we got a question. I think this is a good one on topic from Rickzone3. Says, it's not really a question. It's more of a statement that we can elaborate on. Affordability of current snowboard equipment. $800 snowboards. WTF. I got a take.
Okay.
Okay. Agreed. Snowboards are expensive. However, you can find cheap product. If you go on KSL, or that's what we have here in Utah, or Facebook Marketplace, or your used, you know, you go to a secondhand shop, like where they sell used gear. Milo does that here in Utah. Like, you can find $20 boots, and you can find $50 snowboards, and there's good snowboards out there. So it doesn't discredit, like, I don't want to discredit his statement for expensive brand new retail, but there is a solution if you don't have $800 to buy the most top of the line board.
I think it's relative to just the expensive world that we live in, where, I mean, $800 is going out to dinner 3 times these days. So I really think it's...
Shit, where are you going to dinner? not at Panda Express, I'll tell you that.
You know, you take your friends out to dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually spend about $400 every time I go out to dinner. No, but I think it's all relative. I think
That's McDonald's.
I would argue that, like, you know, when you save up to get a snowboard or whatever, that's one thing. It's getting to the mountain and those lift tickets that I feel like are more of the barrier when you do get that snowboard and then you have to go spend $200 to try it. That's kind of a harder pill to swallow. But yeah, like if you want to save up to get that new Carbon Fire Orca, then you should be able to, but then you should also be able to, like, get on the hill pretty easily.
Yeah, if you, like, take the step to, like, jump into snowboarding and you have a couple friends doing it and you just get into a community, the product's going to flow like the salmon of the Capistrano, you know, between one another, you know, like you. That's how it was when I was growing up. Like, we didn't have money for a lot of gear. You would get, like, the one thing. You would get, like, a board every 3 years, and then you would get the bindings when you needed them, and you would get the boots when you needed those. But, like, in the meantime, the stuff's breaking, but, like, all the homies are bringing their gear to play, you know, like, here's some Burton two-tongues to get you through the next couple of weeks, you know, and, like, oh, you know, like, I don't know. There's just a lot of that goes on between snowboarders, so...
I used to, like, find out what the winnings were when I was a kid of a rail jam, and if it was a snowboard, I would, like, be like, we gotta go to Pennsylvania this weekend. I need a new snowboard. Like,
Yeah.
so luckily my parents took me there, but
yeah, and to Chris's point, there's like, especially this year, there's going to be a lot of closeout. There's like a lot of product in the market. A lot of people are making boards overseas and in places where they can turn out a lot more boards. And after COVID, there's a big glut in the marketplace. And so you are going to see even more cheap deals out there. So
I think that, yeah, like you guys said, the secondary market's big. Or if you do save up and buy a snowboard, like I've run bindings that aren't new. I've run bindings that could be a couple years old, as long as there's what I like and they stay together. So I think if you do spend that money, you just hope that you get what you need out of it, the longevity, you don't, bust the sidewall or your edge. And then lift tickets are for sure, I think, what's really crushing everything right now.
yeah.
Especially when you look at Europe compared to the States, it's such a big price discrepancy between, these resorts in Europe, for the most part, are privately owned. And I think it's a lot cheaper to ride over there than it is in the States. And I think that's where it's the crushing. Because think, you spend $800 on a board, which is a lot, but you can ride that for years. You're spending $150, $200 for, one day on the mountain, and if you're packing a lunch and you're not going into the lodge. So I like seeing like Woodward Park City, I think, does a decent job where it's not super crazy expensive. You get a lot of runs, but you see even places now that have it in their parks, like they might have like in their city parks, like a rail setup. I think Norway has one of those, and I think that's really cool because you kind of find a community and then kind of do it that way. But I like what Big Snow does. That's a great opportunity, but I think it's more lift tickets. It's harsh than product, because product lasts longer than a lift ticket.
Yeah. There's also that like used app that Travis has been talking about, that people put their snowboards up on an app and you can get access to a bunch of used equipment that way.
Milo sale in the fall.
What I'd be interested to talk about is what you might know is why is a snowboard so expensive? You would probably know the best, Burtner, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything that goes into it from the very beginning to the very end. I mean, it's a pretty complicated equation of materials, labor, everyone's time and energy, all the way to the shop floor. There's just so many people
shipping
that touch a snowboard that, first you got to buy all the stuff and get the right materials, the ones that are going to make your board ride the way you want it to, over years and years and years of testing, and then you're subject to the global market at that point with the price of everything, the price of plastics, the price of metals, everything's fluctuating. I mean, we saw it during COVID, just crazy global economics playing out daily with prices of stuff where what costs $2,000 to move from China to the U.S., China to L.A., the next year was costing $20,000, It's like, things get wild in a global economy, and every snowboard manufacturer, whether they're domestic or international, is dealing with that. But domestically, for Mervyn, we're dealing, we have the opportunity to make our boards domestically, which is great, but it also comes with an expense there, that we live in the richest country in the world, and there's an expense there.
And labor and the cost of the building,
yeah.
And the cost of that, whereas you can outsource it for cheaper from China and get a board made there, but then you got to ship it over. And
yeah, and you don't
complex.
get to control the exact recipes and really create the dream toys that you want to create, And so, but yeah, and then, just all the hands that touch it. Yeah, like every step, every process, there's all these people. And by the time it gets to you, there's even been, a rep and a shop. So there's 2 more stages there. So everyone needs to be paid for their time. And so that's just, economics 101. And this is also like a really technical piece of equipment with a ton of different pieces inside of it. It's not just 7 plies. It's like a lot of different materials and engineering, and a lot of times some pretty extravagant materials, exotic materials.
Cool. That was a good explanation. More than I knew about making a board. All right, winter is here. In some places, it's on its way. and the stage is set across more than 50 of the best destinations around. It's time to grab your Ikon Pass and drop in on the good stuff that awaits. December 14th is your last chance to buy an Ikon Pass before they go off sale for the season. They got 10 countries, almost as many languages, and endless ways to play. Now is the moment to pull out the map and start planning for the good stuff you'll score at bombhole beloved destinations like Mammoth, Steamboat, Big Sky, Snowbird, and many others. Of course, home mountain missions are never to be shunned because days with the crew and some well-known turns are what make the season fun. In fact, Ikon Pass has an option for every rider in your crew. They got options starting from $319 adult. The Ikon Session Pass provides 2, 3, or 4 days of access to select destinations. Or, for the more frequent rider, the Ikon Pass unlocks the most access with no blackout dates to all 50-plus destinations. Once you've got your pass, you're automatically a member of a mountain-minded community who receive access to streaming entertainment from Outside Plus and Paramount Plus, exclusive offers from brands like Smith, discounts on lift tickets for friends and family, not to mention discounts on food, beverage, and retail purchases. Yep, it's all good, and it's waiting for you. But remember, December 14th is your last chance to buy an Ikon Pass before they go off sale for the season. Claim your pass. The good stuff is coming at ikonpass.com before it's too late. All right, we're going to take a quick break and talk to you guys about Oakley. Now, their team collection outerwear just dropped. You can catch Sage Kossenberg out there. He's got a nice yellow and green kit looking fresh. I saw the Stale Sandback collection. He's looking clean out there. So check out their new athlete collection if you're interested in some new outerwear. They also have some new innovation in the Mod 3. They got 360 BOA, so it makes for a really good snug fit on your head if you're looking for a premium helmet. I love the BOA system, whether you're wearing a beanie or whether you're just wearing like a balaclava that's thin underneath it. It's got good adjustability. It doesn't interfere with your goggles. So check out the Mod 3 if you're interested in getting yourself a snowboard helmet. Some of them have MIPS as well, if you're looking for that technology as well. And be sure to be on the lookout for Oakley Community Days. It's a great event for people to come out and ride. We'll be sharing the dates and locations soon, so be on the lookout for that. All right, we're going to talk about Sunbum. Now, remember, sun care is year-round, so don't forget about it in the winter months. I use the Mineral Stick SPF 50. It's a really small thing I keep in my pocket when I snowboard, and you want to make sure you don't get cooked out there on the slopes. Now, speaking of homies that are cooked, the Sunbum ambassadors are elite. They got a killer team. You got Parker Zumowski, Steffi Luxton, Jed Anderson, Blake Paul, Jill Perkins, Brian Fox. Really sick snowboard team that supports snowboarding. So you always want to support those brands that support snowboarding. A lot of people don't know. They make a full line of sun care, skin care, hair care, lip care, kids, and baby with SPF protection. They make shampoo. I got it in my shower. It works great. And nobody can attest this more than Blake Paul. If you've ever seen his lettuce flowing in the wind when he snowboards without goggles, it's glistening. It looks beautiful. That's because Sunbum. Their motto is trust the bum. You can buy it at your local snowboard shops or surf shops or at sunbum.com and use promo code THEBOMBHOLE to save 15% off your order. Well, speaking of boards, we got Ryan Mcdermott. We're about to call him. And I just want to know, like, I've ridden a Mcdermott board. The hype is real. Like, when he tunes your board, the fastest snowboard I've ever ridden was tuned by him at Red Bull Recharge.
I was going to say, was it due to her when you went to the bottom of that jump?
No, that was me not listening to Dave Reynolds. What's the speed? I haven't hit the jumps. 2 turns. Okay, what? Should I go straight? No, don't go straight. And then I went straight. But yeah. Anyway, Louie, you've ridden McDermott tuned your stuff?
He grinds all my snowboards. And also shout out to Chip, who works for Ryan as well. He does a really good job. Those guys it makes such a big difference. A good grind on your board.
100%. So with McDermott here, he's on the line, but I'm going to intro him. So he's the wax tech for a lot of the top riders, a bunch of national teams, but he also does all the big dogs. Like I said earlier, pretty much every podium that you see, probably 2 out of the 3 riders are tuned by McDermott. Other stuff too is that, like, it when it's bad weather, the only way to get air in a half pipe. You're dependent on the wax tech. It's a really interesting job. So we got Mcdermott on the line. Let me bring you on. Ryan, you there?
Hey, Chris, how's it going, man?
Doing great. You got Louie Vito, Katie Kennedy, and Burtner in the studio. Happy to have you on the line. Where are you at right now?
Same place as always. I'm actually back in the shop again, man. Just getting into a couple boards. So
cool. Yeah, I'm interested for you to share to our listeners. I think it would be interesting to kind of explain exactly what you do for a lot of these top athletes and kind of what your role is.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, and hey to Louie. Lots of love to Louie, Katie, and Jesse. Big fans. And is it Silk D, right? I'm assuming he's there as well.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't intro Silk. I like that you know Silk. Respect.
No.
Got
Too easy. Yeah, no. You know, we just a lot of it is just prep work. You know, like we I would probably the best way to describe the like tech job or the wax job is just wax technician job is trying to just keep it as consistent as possible for the riders. You know, like you kind of mentioned, you know, like we'll look into variable weather patterns or whatever, and we just or you know, maybe some speed traps in the course at, you know, just due to like shade or where it flans out just naturally. We'll try to prepare it for that so that the riders can just keep their speed up through the course and through the pipe, and you know, and let them do their job, like do what they do best, man. I mean, it's literally like 98% rider up there, and then it's just like, you know, the rest of us goofballs trying not to get in their way, you know. So
you're too humble, so I'm going to keep making sure that you get some shine here because I know you're going to keep deflecting it. But, you know, one thing I think that's interesting is that you were telling me that you wax for finals. You know, let's say if you're waxing a board the night before and, you know, finals are at 2, you're going to wax the board for what you think the snow condition is going to be at 2 p.m., correct?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. Sometimes we'll get a split where we'll get the guys to go out. Like Louie can probably attest to this contest wise. We'll get the guys and they'll get to be able to get into a like practice, like an open session with the women in the morning. And you know, a lot of times it's just to let them get their legs under them and get a feel for the pipe. But for the most part, we're waxing for the afternoon. So sometimes some of the riders will be like, "Whoa, it's a little grippy in there. It's a little slow." But you know, we've already waxed for the afternoon sesh, you know, and you know, we've got a bunch of Band-Aids up there, so to say, like what we call overlays that we can put on the boards and try to give them like temporary fixes so they can get through what they got to. But what we wanted to do is ultimately hit when their time slots up, like, you know, because you know, sometimes like we'll have a women's session at like starting at like 9:30 or 10, and slope or pipe will be completely different for the women to the men. So yeah, so we'll wax for different parts of the day, and yeah, you know.
Louie, you ever have Mcdermott kind of save you on a snowy pipe contest day?
I mean, pretty much every snowy pipe contest he's there. I mean, I send all my boards to him, and I think for the viewers that don't also understand, because like you said, he's extremely humble. These guys are like the first ones at the pipe or the slope style. They do the women's practice, contest, the break, practice for the guys, contest for the guys, ends at like 3 o'clock. So we're working that entire time, figuring it all out, standing outside in the elements. And then he goes to the shop and has to prep all the boards for a full another day of that. So I think that's the other thing that I got to give you props on, because you withstand the weather, and then the amount of riders you go into the shop, and it's like the who's who of snowboards lined up, and it's kind of fun to walk around when you're talking, because you're like, oh, there's Mark's board, oh, there's Ben's board, oh, there's Danny's board. It's like you can just see all the biggest name riders' boards lined up in the shop. I can't even believe that you guys get it done. But also shout out Chip for putting in work too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for that. Chip Prue, my partner here in the shop, kid's a legend, and, you know, he does so much. And, you know, and also a big shout out to like Stu Soares and Kenny Nault for those years. I know that they're half pipe magicians, you know, and they've been out there same deal, you know, and there's so many men and women like technicians that are just like, you know, that do it. But I mean, we're fortunate too. I think Chris and I had kind of just got into it a little bit, but it's like, we're also dealing with some of the best pipes and the best parks, like slope runs in the world, you know? So it's a blast, man. Like, you know, to see like riders get to express themselves on it. And, you know, it's funny because it's like, I always get people like, oh, like, who do you got? Like, who are you pulling for? I was like, I don't give a shit. Oh, I mean, I don't care. I'm like, man, you see the run and, you know, you see the kid, he might not be on the podium or she might not be on the podium, but you see the run that makes you want to go shred. You know what I mean? So those are the big ones.
I like it. So one thing that's cool to talk about too is like Louie mentioned, you know, on a big contest, let's say Friday's practice, Saturday's finals. On Friday, you guys get all the boards. What time are you tuning, you know, everybody from Stale to Jamie, Anderson, you know, all of the top boards, you got to go take them and tune them. What time are you usually done the night before a finals tuning all the boards?
You know, it all depends, you know, sometimes just the cars will dictate that, you know, I'm sure you guys all know, like there's just hard days out there where the snow just destroys boards. So it could take, you know, 3 to 4 coats of wax through it, cleaning up edge work and stuff like that. And, you know, a big one is we check out bindings all the time because you never know. You know, that's usually where the boards, I'm sure you guys are all familiar with it. That's where the boards break mostly. So just on impact and like low landings or copings or knuckles or anything like that or rails or anything. So we first check that out and, you know, then we decide like, you know, like who the rider is and if it's a good move, like putting it in their head that, hey, your board snapped in half. Sometimes it's like, hey, they've been riding the second board and they're just as comfortable and they're not going to care at all. So let's get them on that right away without saying anything. But, you know, I mean, you know how it is. Snowboarders we're creatures of habit. You look down and you're like, whoa, this isn't yesterday's board. That's the wrong sticker in the wrong place. And, you know, you have questions. So it's a kind of a delicate matter, but that's usually the beginning of the night. And then the rest of the night is, you know, it's just getting through the work. And, you know, most nights I'd like to say we're done before midnight, but there's some crazy ones. There's some marathon ones where you're seeing the sun come up and you're just like, oh boy, it's going to be a long day on hill.
Respect for the unsung heroes behind the scene. Now, I'm curious, do different riders have different edge bevels that they give you too?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I would say like coming into the early 2000s, you know, smaller jumps and mostly like heavy rail features in contests. We had a lot of people going the JP route and just like kind of like just taking the edge completely off, you know, and then as the spins have gotten like just insane, like the amount of spins that these kids are doing and what they need to set into the snow and then to also to drive in as they're landing. A lot of riders, you know, we're setting them up with pretty tight edges as far as slopes out. Louie can attest for pipe. You know, it depends on the pipe too. A lot of times we'll go with what's 1-in-1 bevel, like, and that's usually established out of the factory. And we try to stay with that. We might tighten it up, but you know, like it depends on the rider too. You know, some riders want a little detune up at contact or, you know, in certain areas of the board. And you know, it's really weird. I think a lot of times I'll equate it to breaking in a baseball mitt. You know, like we kind of just get the board where the rider wants it. We kind of accelerate the break in early. So when the rider gets on it, they're ready to rip and it feels like the last board they were on, you know, even if it's a brand new one. Cause you know, like you definitely want that snappiness of a new board, but you know how it is, man. Like you've been riding a board for weeks or a month and you're like, wow, this thing's right where I like it, you know? And so
how do you break in somebody's board? You hop around and do nose press in the carpet?
No, right. No, a lot of times it's just a tune. It's, you know, what we do is we introduce something called structure. And what structure is for lack of a better word, it's a pattern that we'll put into the base of the board. And it kind of acts probably the best scenario I hear Chip using it all the time is it's like the tread on your tire, and naturally a board without a flat board without structure in it it'll be subject to adhesion or like almost like suction. I'm sure you guys have all felt that, like in warmer conditions, like springtime, you're kind of on your front leg because you're just like, wow, man, this thing's not moving. And what structure does is it acts like that tire tread, and it moves this as the board travels over the snow, and the friction turns a snow molecule into a water molecule. It helps to channel it out from underneath it, so it'll create a better glide ratio for the baller. So we kind of tell clients all the time, or riders all the time, that a board with structure without wax will eventually run better than a board with wax without structure, because you'll eventually get that adhesion. So.
Okay, amazing. Wow, great explanation. Now I'm curious, you're wax tech for Team Canada, New Zealand, Great Britain, all the big dogs. Now you go to the Olympics and all that stuff. Are you technically like an Olympic team member? Do you have a ring or anything? What's going? They give you any medals? How does that work, Mcdermott?
No, I'm just lucky they'll bring me, man.
You should. You're more important than the damn coach most of the time.
No way.
When it's slow.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, we're lucky. Like, there's crews like Schneeser and that's been building the Olympic courses and cutting pipes. They've been doing great jobs, and we're really fortunate to have that have the riders get into that. But yeah, man, I'm lucky. I get the crews that I work with, the Canadian crew, they're fantastic, and they're Chris Witwicky up there, and Tyler Ashby and Elliot Tatton, those guys they're very just, they love snowboarding, and they're so down with me. They're like, look, as long as our cats get it, we're down with whoever you're tuning for. So get after it. Just make sure, like, if kids need it, help them out, whether it's bindings or or whatever. They know that, like, at the end of the day, they're like, look, we'll put our kids up against anyone as long as it's just a good course and everyone's running. So, and that's it, man. We just, all those kids, I know it's gotten a little different. Louie can definitely talk to this, but it's gotten a little bit different with, like, as we've gotten into this importance of Olympics. But man, it's like, that was the raddest part about, like, snowboarding, is you'd have cats from Japan running with, like, guys from the US or Norwegians, and like, everyone was always like, you just ran with your friends that you were having the most fun riding with, and yeah, man, so it's fun, and I'm stoked that they let me they're cool with me working with whatever riders I work with. So
now Louie just runs with all the Italians, so he doesn't even hang out with the Americans.
All of them, all by myself, the entire team, just me.
Whatever. You're a man of the people, Louie.
Is there ever a scenario where you want to go slower? Have you ever provided that for a rider?
That's a great question. It's scary at times. You definitely get situations where riders are like, don't touch it, and like they're dialed to the speed of the course, or they're still, you know how hard it is to figure out what a run, like what your run's going to link up as. And man, just any extra speed sometimes can blow it. So a lot of times the riders will come up and they'll just be like, but that's riders too, man. They're so instinctive as far as, your approach on a rail, what you need as far as what check you need to put into it, or a jump, or, or even on a pipe, because you get a little too loose and it can get saucy, right?
You just tell them too, like, hey, don't brush this run, right? Because like they'll be doing it maybe before practice or after, and right before you're going, they're like, what do you want? Or in between practice runs, like, how was that running? You're like, I need a little bit more, and they'll brush it out right there. So for me in pipe, I might say, leave it how we had it for practice, like, because I don't want to drop in and be like, right, oh my gosh, because they make such a big difference, especially like the first 20 to 50 yards, that you can drop into the pipe and just be like feeling like that you're slipping backwards and your board's outrunning you. So you can communicate with them, because they're constantly wanting to know how they're doing, what do you think, how's it riding, And then if you say, I'm feeling a little slow or sticky, they're like, okay, that's easy to fix. And they have all their magic that they throw together, and then you're going too fast.
I have a question. I'm going to the Dirksen Derby in a couple weeks. Can you come?
Girl.
Is anyone on your team able to come with me? No, but
how many of them?
If for like somebody that doesn't know that much besides the basics, what are some of those techniques?
Great question.
Yeah, no, that's a great one, because we've actually kind of gotten into this where we get to this point where we're like, okay, it's ditch season, it's slalom season, like especially in the springtime. But that's a fantastic event, and hats off to Josh for just always making it better, right? And I think the first start on it, and man, you're more than welcome to, if you're out this way or if you want to send a board out, we'll dial it up for you. But yeah, what we'll do is we would definitely structure it. We'll true out the base, which, we'll put it over a stone. And then after we get the structure into it, we'll set your bevels to what you'd like. Like Chris made a good point, like what's your preference? And if you're just like, I just ride it out of factory, we definitely put it back to that. And we take whatever the rider feedback is and where it is. Like if you're like, hey, I'm doing the race, but then I'm taking this to rails too, so we want to make it so it transfers well for you. So, we do that. And then what we do is, to prep it wax wise, is we'll do a series of waxes. And, a good way for us to accelerate that is with, we've got a piece of equipment called a hot box. And the hot box essentially lets us get about maybe 3 to 4 coats of wax in about, 2.5 hours of time in it. It's essentially a base. It's a big oven, and it bakes in the wax or infuses the base. I don't know if you've heard that expression, but it's an old Nordic trick, and it was something that I think freestyle started to adopt like maybe mid that early 2000s, and like that's like something like Louie's boards. They're probably subject to like 4 hot boxes. So ultimately, it's like maybe like 10 to 12, hot waxes. So your base is so infused with wax, and what it creates is almost like a primer for the waxes that we want to put on to bond to, because wax right onto your polyethylene base, they'll bond, but they'll pull when introduced to the friction of the snow. So what we do is we introduce so much wax that conditions the base that we can start to wax at the temperature that we'd like to see for what you're going to be riding in.
Wow. I like that. One other thing is a cool topic, I think, as well, is like a lot of people talk about the base. We got to wax the base. But for you guys, how important is a smooth edge in getting as much speed as possible?
Yeah, that's a good one. Also just for for rail riding, that's a really interesting one, because, a lot of kids, like, we get so many shreds that come in, and they're just like, hey, just don't, whatever you do, like, wax my base, but I don't touch my edges. But the trouble is, when you get your board on edge, what happens is, if you have what we call burrs or damage to your edge, that'll drag in the snow like an anchor. So what we do is, if we could clean that off, like the saying's always been, a clean edge is a fast edge, and so what we'll do is we'll clean that edge off. It doesn't necessarily have to be sharp, but we want to bring it back to like a clean edge. So when you get it on edge, it cuts right through snow. I mean, you can hold your line nice and clean, and even on a rail, you don't have that burr that catches up or anything. So
good stuff. Okay, Mcdermott. Well, thanks so much for taking the time. I think it's really interesting stuff for me, and hopefully our listeners too, that are snowboard nerds. So I really appreciate you taking the time. I think, are you going to be at all the events this year?
Yeah, we get ramped up starting with Copper World Cup, and then from there, right after the new year, where it's that stretch. It gets kind of crazy with, I think it's Locks, X Games, Mammoth, Calgary, a minute off, fingers crossed on a Dew Tour. And then we got a couple of Euro events to finish it off. And then, and then fun time, springtime shred. So
And anybody that's looking to get a world-class tune from a true guru, send their boards to Montserrat, right? Right in Summit County. That's your shop.
Yeah, or and also you definitely use your local shops, man. Like for sure. Like we're always open. We're stoked to have people. We got some people that transient through Colorado, and they're like, "Yo, I heard about this place, and I want to get a board tune." Yeah, we're always open, and we're welcome. Like definitely welcoming in work for sure. So please do. But yeah, use your local shops too. There's a lot of good guys and girls out there teching, and they're stoked to get on your gear and help you out with it. So
cool. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time, Mcdermott, and thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for having me on. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. See ya.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's get back into it here. We're going to talk Natty Select. Particularly, we had a question of who would be your Natty Select wild card choice. I forget who asked that. I don't have notes on who asked it. Thank you, whoever submitted that question. It's a great one. Jesse, you want to start off?
Sure. There's so many good ones, but I'm going to go with my friend Phil Hansen.
Ooh,
great choice.
Because he's got these his tricks are, he can whip tricks out in so many scenarios, and he doesn't fall. So I think he could do some damage.
Who do you think would be the worst person to compete in Natty Select? Just you got anybody that comes to mind that would just it would be just a train wreck? Louie?
Yeah, I mean,
he's pointing to himself.
I would say
get lost.
Yeah, I would be horrible as well.
They should have like a civilian league, like kind of like best of the worst.
It would really just be like people getting so lost. It would be hilarious.
Which one was it where they had like that crazy? I think it was Ben. Somebody ended up there.
It was Ben. Yeah.
Like I've always admired that about big mountain riders. They look at a picture and they're like, okay, and they go up on the top and it's pretty much backwards, and they're like, okay, this is where I am on the. I don't know where I don't pay attention enough to know where I am on a mountain half the time. So I would end up and be like, oh yeah, I found the freaking sheer cliff. I shouldn't be here, and I'm cliffed out. And can you send the heli to come pick me up? That's how I view it. So I just give them props that they know where they are, because there's such a big terrain.
So you want the heli bump off the face is what you're opting for, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the heli to come pick me up and ring me down just to give me the ride
as
much heli
like
time as possible.
Doing my run, and I would botch the feature, and then be like, hold on, and unstrap and like hike up and like pat it down, and then be like, okay, ready? Just maybe 10 tries.
Just start fill it in your landing.
Yeah, I'm like making a landing, like.
All right, Katie, who you got?
I have all the female eyes on. That's who I look at, I guess. I guess first off, I feel like the female selection of that competition is so kind of funny, because there's like Zoe, who's like 20, and then there's like 45-year-olds, and there's not a big there's like a missing gap of generation. So anyone that I feel like is around in that generation should have an opportunity. But I got to ride with Laura Hadar at Baldface, and I know she's kind of been out of the game, or at least the spotlight, but one of the best free riders, didn't fall, just dropping everything, knew exactly where she was, such good style. And I just, after watching her snowboard, I was like, you're one of my favorite snowboarders, and you rode the mountain super confidently and well, and it'd be cool. That would be my wild card.
That would be so fun to see Hadar.
Yeah, she'd rip it too.
Yeah, just showing up late to the event.
Bringing some of their classic
Louie, what do you got?
Mark Frank Montoya, open jacket.
Wow.
Oh my God.
You know he's still got it.
I want to just see him send just arms out floating, just for distance.
Shifty?
Just shifties all the way down the course.
Maybe they could have some puddles, and he could unstrap and stomp around in the puddles, his back and black part at the bottom.
Like when they're in front of the logo board, they have to pan the camera over. He's just off to the side, stomping.
Yeah, we would need a puddle stomping segment.
The cigar off the $100 bill.
Yes, those would all be sections of the course.
Just big drop. Everyone's doing big tricks. Maybe a double, and then he just. Or he has a half cab over poke indie. That was dope. So I'd say I want something, or like Kevin Backstrom. Like just
He's been in it.
Yeah, he was in it.
Was
Yeah.
it? Oh, it was
Yeah.
early on, I guess.
Louis,
Right.
jeez,
Ulrich.
man, your credibility is
Ulrich.
grenading.
Ulrich.
Oh, was Ulrich in it?
No.
No, he wasn't. Okay.
Because you know he'll send.
Yeah, he'd send. Okay, I got. Here's my picks. My picks are good. Okay. First one, Mason Jar. Okay, Mason Jar would land in the fucking parking lot. He would go I don't think he would land his run. I'm gonna say that, but he would not speed check before anything, and it would be exciting. And the course would probably be decimated afterwards. Or if he did land, it would be the best fucking thing ever. And then take two, who actually I think would compete, like who has a chance to win, would be BMO. BMO Barrel Seeker. We got to get him in there.
Didn't he win?
Freeride World Tour.
Yeah, twice maybe, or something. But I would think he's on his way to getting in there.
He had the best like follow up interview, and he's like, then the backflip, that was chill. That was my favorite part of the run. Like it was chill. He just backflipped off like a 35-foot cliff.
It's a different. I mean, that's just like such a different thing because, it's natural, obviously, but it's just you got to go when you go, and here you go. Just do your thing. There might be a jump, there might not be a jump. Who can ride the mountain the best? Who can get the most creative? But it's really cool for me to watch and see the different visions and different types of riding, where it's not like a slope style course. It's not just like a big line. It's who get creative and then add your flavor to it, which is what I like to watch.
Now, with your take, we talk about this all the time, but I'd love to get your take because we're beating the dead horse, dragging it along. But the competitive snowboarding is getting, I think, women's snowboarding competitively is more fun to watch. It's exciting. I know what's going on. The runs are fucking boss. Zoe's landing at the bottom, but then the introduction of the airbag is getting so much rotations in half pipe particularly. It's not as gnarly than like big air, you know. But what do you think about where we're headed with these giant spins as a competitive snowboarder?
Well, back up just a little bit. I think it's what makes me laugh is we used to get so much crap in half pipe, like, oh, it's like gymnastics, doubles all the way down, and now slope style. I mean, where somebody would do a cab 9 on that jump, it's a cab double 12. So if you watch a trick and you think it's a cab 9, it's probably a cab double 12. And they're going so many spins, so many flips from takeoff to landing that like it's so hard to even understand. And that is, like you said, from the airbag, which is so big right now, and they're all over. As far as half pipe, I think it's slowed down a little bit. Like the triples will be for a while where you'll be, but I think you're starting to see a little bit more creativity. So you look at like a double cork, everybody was grabbing like Indy, Melon, you know, the basics. Now you're starting to see a little bit more flavor with it and a little more style with it. And I think the triple might get there, but for a while it's just people are just going to do it to do it. I think what I would like to see is 2 events for half pipe. 1 week at the Olympics, let's say, is half pipe, and then week 2 at the Olympics is the modified. And I think the modified is going to be something that will be more popular, but I think half pipe I would like to see stick around. But you're seeing more creativity. Jan's doing a great job. Taylor did a great job with that. There's people, Lucas Foster, the double alley-oop McTwist, chicken wing is super sick. So I think it's also kind of puts pressure on the judges because it's what they're scoring. Mm-hmm. Would you rather see a back double 12, which is a gnarly trick, or Jan to do a backside 9 shifty, which is the tough. Like I used to say, Danny Davis's runs were so sick and so much style, but I honestly believe that he's one of the few people who could do that run and get a good score. Like if I rolled in and did that, they'd be like, well, Louie always done chucked himself. Like, what is he doing? It's not that sick.
Are they like judging for like you doing something new to your, like bringing something new to your run yourself?
See, but that's where the subjectivity comes into, because I've had a judge say like, oh, you didn't do this trick. We like when you do this trick instead. It's like, okay, but you're supposed to judge what I did. And also it's like, what if this person, Ayumu, for instance, he can do triples pretty easily. So are you going to give somebody who's never done a triple in a contest a bigger score, even if it wasn't as good as Ayumu, because you've seen Ayumu do it for 2 years? And that's where it gets a little tricky, because you're supposed to judge what you're seeing, the actual run, not who's doing the run.
Yeah, totally.
So that's where it gets tricky.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's
but I think
weird.
it's a little bit of the riders and it's a little bit of the judging, because it's subjective. It's like sometimes it does, to me, it goes into who's doing that run, because not everybody can do it. like certain, like Danny can do this run. I don't think if I did that, granted we have very different styles, but like I would score the same. It's just like Danny's thing. This is my thing. I've been doing it for so long. Technical tricks. He's got stylish, floaty tricks. But riders are always chasing the bigger spin because that's what's scoring. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's like a kind of a yin and a yang that needs to come together, where I think the modified will add to that into the half pipe and vice versa. They'll feed off of each other. Or you can have, it's kind of like big air and slope, which big air, and you have the riders who are really good at big air, but putting together a top to bottom run might not be their forte. Whereas half pipe, you have to be technically sound, and then a modified might allow for you to have some double edging, and you don't score that as harshly. It's more about creativity and making the rider do big tricks, but also stand out from the rest. Because that's where it's easy in half pipe. Like, how are you going to judge 3 double 12s that all grab the same, all look the same? It's like hard to separate at that point.
Yeah, amplitude.
It's like how you stitch it together.
Yeah, but like the Red Bull double pipe, like that was
cool. They had a jump at the beginning of that too on one of your.
Yeah.
I like the jump into the pipe contest.
Yeah, so I mean that's like another one where I honestly think the days before the actual event was more fun, but I think bringing back a jam, because now
that's it.
At X Games though they have a jam.
No, it's run format.
It's modified. It's like what I can't remember. They had.
It's not a jam.
Yeah, it's like I get up there before you. Oh no, you have to wait. Chris is ahead of you on the start sheet. I'm like, so why is this a jam?
It's
like
not
I
a
just
jam.
So I think going back to like the Vans Cup where they actually did a true jam. You just hike.
Wow.
Hike.
You do a one hit.
Hike.
I think that would be the best for the viewers too. Like obviously the cameramen and camerawomen would get absolutely like buckled because they always miss everything whenever they try to do stuff like this. But in terms of like a live event, the freaking just hike it. You got single hits, you got one hits. Some people are doing full pulls, some people are blasting straight air. Everybody's just attacking the pipe. I think that would be the most exciting for the viewers and the people there. It would probably be harder to judge, but I think the energy would be cool. And you'd also, the thing I'd like about it is you get to see how deep somebody's bag of tricks is. Right? If somebody's mixing up their run the whole time, like that's what was cool about Danny. Danny always mixed up his runs and did weird stuff, and that would be an opportunity for somebody like him or, Chase, who has got a deep bag to kind of shine.
But
Yeah.
I think the thing is, it was interesting, and I mean, this is just not, I have the most respect, but it's like, I felt like Danny had way better results when it was a 3-run final than 2. And I think it makes a big difference where I like 2 because I like that pressure. But you're like, this is the run I got to do. Where 3, you have a little bit of room to maybe put down one and then try something different and mix it up. And it took a little bit of the pressure off. And I thought that Danny always thrived in that. And it was funny because he might not land a 2-run one as consistently. This is obviously, I'm sure there's probably data that could tell you otherwise. But in my memory, in 3, he would land all 3. And it would be 3 different runs. But the jam would give you, also it would give you a chance to do a combination that, it might be a 2 time out of 10 tries that you're going to land it, but it's going to push it in a different way. And I think that it's just exciting. I mean, like you said, the viewer just sitting there, imagine a live one too. It's just action, 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 action. And then you could do, overall or standout. I mean, you have different categories you can do too. I think the riders would have fun. You're really feeding off of each other. Or you just, where you kind of throw caution to the wind a little bit. I don't mind if I fall here because I could have 5 more runs if I
Maybe that's its own event almost. That it's just like, this is the jam. Welcome to the X Games jam.
Yeah.
And it's we're doing the half pipe, we're doing that, but this is the jam. It's free for all, and there's going to be these 3 or 5 prizes.
And there's a couple rogue slope ponies that might get in there that are who kind of open the doors, keep it a little looser. Yeah.
It just brings back that's what it used to be. I mean,
U.S. Open,
U.S. Open, but it was just also if you wanted to rip runs, then hike up and rip runs. If you want to just cruise and take your time, then take your time. And I look at it like practice for X Games where you have sled laps, and it's not a jam, but I'm out there getting after it.
Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah. And then you see Arthur Longo, he'd be up there just what's up? Like, bro, you're not going to practice? Like, yeah, in a bit, you know, like he just kind of did his own thing and it works. Like, super French. But
he's smoking a cig, you're just mowing hard-boiled eggs. It's kind of like the same.
Like, dry throat, dude. It was bad. Like when you cough, like egg yolk kind of flies out. It sucked. But I just think that would be super beneficial for it and just more fun. Although I do love contests. So.
I have a question about contests. Are they making the jumps bigger? Like, is there a ceiling, like, for, like, physics? Like,
Louie's a half-pipe guy.
Yeah, I guess this,
I mean, I can give you my opinion on it.
Yeah, I want your opinion.
It's funny because I feel like you see some of the tricks that these riders have you can't do on every slopestyle course. So then you get, like, at X Games, like a big air, like, they're like, oh, so-and-so's got a quad. Like, we can build the jump. So the first event this person's done a quad is here at X Games. Slopestyle gets a little more tricky, and then you add in, like, the female side where I think it looks better and it's doper because the girls are so sick, but there's only a lot of times, like, one takeoff. Back in the day, you know, you had 2 takeoffs. But it's like a give and a take where, yeah, you're going to see some bigger tricks, but then it kind of separates, like, what some riders feel comfortable doing. But I think right now it's at a decent spot. Like, it kind of makes the guys chuck hard, but the females are feeling comfortable doing dub 12s and even, you know, some maybe a triple, but it's not. It's just kind of, the girls are pushing it so hard right now. Like, it's insane in slope style how good they are.
Yeah, it's so fun to watch women's competitive snowboarding right now.
You know, it would be fun to talk trend watch of where we see things headed. Let's do a little preview of trick trends 2024, 25. You know, what do you got?
Well, I've been noticing the stiffy coming back in possibly. And I want to see, you know, I'm liking seeing where grabs are going again. And it's fun to see people just chucking on jumps and exploring that again, like not just doing the standard grab, which we've been going in a while, but I feel like more of the video filming people are like focusing in on making sure they're jumping, and it's just inevitable that the young folks are going to start bringing new stuff to it. And
this guy's an avid stiffy, a stiffy advocate, you could say.
Stiffy connoisseur.
I love a good stiffy.
Yeah. This guy,
I think as far as I've always tried to emulate the double-handed stiffy like Kurt Heine back in, I think, as he has a shot from Hood. And I've like have that on my phone, on every computer because it's so proper. So I've always tried, and then I started doing like between the legs double.
You gotta be flexible for that.
Well, I have short legs, so I don't have to reach that far, but really pull up that way. And then I remember when all the grenade guys kind of started doing it, Danny mostly,
Lane, don't forget Lane.
Lane, of course. Sorry, Lane. I have Lane stories that I always respect Lane until the day I die. But Danny was doing them in the pipe, and we were at X Games, and I was traveling with Grenade, and Danny was like my idol. And I was doing front sevens with it, and he like literally was like, "Yo, why are you biting my stuff?" And I'm
with
like,
the double grab.
With the double grab, and I was like, "I'm sorry." So then I started doing front seven stiffies. And this is back on my forum days.
Oh, so you were
Youngblood.
doing them just truck driver at first?
No, just double mute Indy.
Okay.
And that's what Danny was doing on jumps and everything. And so he called me out at X Games. So then I was like, well, I like stiffies, so I'm just doing it with a stiffy. So I have a bunch of like old X Games photos, like front seven stiffies. And then I've always tried to, you got to separate yourself, especially with everyone kind of doing some of the same doubles. So when I used to do front double 10 nose, Danny Davis did cab double tail, which would be switch nose, but I did front double 10 nose, and other people started doing it, so I was like, I got to mix it up. So then I started doing like my spaz poke, but that's just a lot going on in that trick, and it felt cool, but it looked like nothing. So then
spaz poke, so
yeah, in a front double,
great
like,
name,
like this. So then I started doing the Indy mute double, front double, and then there's like Levko, who I love, a young kid from Mammoth. He started doing cab sevens with that this year in Sauce, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna tell you like Danny told you, because Danny used to coach him on the rookie team. I said, no, not until I'm done. Let me ride this one out before you start biting that grab here, because that's like my separator from everybody else doing front doubles. But I was thinking about trying to do the stiffy, but there's just so much on a front double 10 in the pipe that like I don't know how it's gonna look.
We're going to
like,
need that.
I like how you told him to take a knee on that.
Yeah. How was that received?
I mean, the kid is an amazing snowboarder and like an even better person. Levko's like he's so nice.
Is he abiding by the rules set, the parameters?
Is there going to be like a pass off after? Like,
yeah, because I would like love that kid. I would give him. I have so much respect for him as a person, and that's to me the biggest thing. Like, if I like you as a snowboarder, but then you're a really cool person, then I'm like gonna back you hard. So I back him heavy. But Danny, Danny and I go back and forth now because he's the U.S. team head coach now. So he's not the rookie coach. So we travel again together, which has been fun. But I think in half pipe you're seeing more creative grabs on bigger tricks because that's just the evolution. And then I think you'll see like some creativity. Like I said, Jan was doing the back 9 shifty, which is just so sick. But you haven't seen the shifty as much since like Ross Powers did the back 3, or was it switchback 3 shifty? That was really sick back in the day. But you haven't seen the shifty as much as you do in like slope style. I could see more of that. That'd be pretty sick.
I'm seeing a couple upticks in a couple tricks. I'm seeing an uptick in chicanes.
Oh,
I'm seeing an uptick in sloth rolls. I'm seeing I'm seeing an uptick in those. I'd like to see a downtick in like, is that a word? I don't know.
Sure.
I'd like to see.
We'll accept it.
In video parts, I'd like to see a downtick in like basic tricks on bigger rails. I'd actually like to see an uptick on like tech down bar.
It's time.
It's time for tech down bar to come back.
We saw a good uptick in nose presses this year.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, like a 15% increase.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Maybe 16.
So, yeah.
Cooper, Dustbox.
Yep.
Just giving that one just absolute hell.
Yeah. That raised the stock a bit.
And then, of course, Marty.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Marty's front board on the Triple King C-Rail.
Oh, amazing. That movie was sick.
Yeah.
Mountain.
Uptick on giant front boards and back lips on big kinks. I would love to see an uptick on that.
Yeah.
That's timeless. In 30 years, you can watch that clip of Marty Vachon and it'll still be amazing.
I'd like to see just that nose press thing continue and like let's get the half cap nose press back. Let's get the front 180. What are you going to say here? You're going to Harrison Gordon it and say fakie 5.0 or switch nose press?
Yeah, I'd probably say switch nose press, but the skater in me wants to say fakie 5.0.
Yeah. Whichever you want to call it.
Yep.
Yeah. That one, let's get that through a kink or like legit style. I know it's hard to like show. It's so hard to get a super good press through a kink.
That's why nobody does them.
Yeah, but like, let's get there.
The non-slap, like the non-freeze frame 50-50 at any moment.
Yeah.
No 50-50 freeze frame.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
That's like probably what I hear about when I'm on Slush looking at the comments. People are like, another video with just like board slides and 50-50s.
Yeah.
And which is like they all have their place, but when it's a whole video of that, I think it's time to mix it up a bit.
There's like an uptick in less is more. Like just do it smooth and film it good, but it's like no, actually no, more is more. Like doing
ramp the run out so you know it was amazing. You know, it's like
yeah.
No,
more is more. I want to see it.
I love back 180, switch 5.0
when it's put in 90.
Well, yeah,
it can't be the swivel. It can't be a front blunt and then swivel into the fake.
I'm talking back 180, land on the front foot.
Oh, switch tail press.
Yeah.
That one's hard.
Yeah, like I love that trick. Like that's like the most fun trick to do in powder, just a backside 360 butter or whatever. I love it applied places in the streets, and like if you apply it to like a bar, it just becomes amazing. You know, like even a flat bar or any round bar situation with that trick, fun to watch.
I like it. This is good trend forecasting. Well, we're not the ones to predict them, but we can project what we want.
Yeah, we're kind of just putting in like an order right now. Like,
yeah, we're putting
like a quick little like we want to see this, that, the other. Now go get it.
The good thing is anybody that's going to do these tricks isn't listening, I can assure you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I think we kind of did it, guys. What do you think? Oh, I have one more note. Bad Boy Noah. We talk about Bad Boy Noah taking the internet by storm. I don't know how old this kid is. I think he's 5. He's got a couple good things going for him. He did a backlip 270 through the kink. Let me tell you, I went to that thing sticky. Wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. This kid's 5. He's backlip 270 in the kink. Other thing he's got going for him, Instagram handle, Bad Boy Noah. He's a shoo-in for me.
Works on multiple levels.
Yes.
Like he's a bad boy club. Like,
yeah.
But he's also like, bad boy Noah. You know, like because he's 5.
Yeah, like if he's like a dog. Kind of yeah. Big fan.
He should intern. You know, he's got he
child
figured
labor
out
scenario. I think
we need to be listening to the youth. In this industry,
we should have a round table with a bunch of 5-year-olds and be
all
like,
these
what
old heads.
You guys are talking about upticks and chicanes. Jesus, yeah.
Is he a snowboarding version of Baby Gronk? You come in here with his dad doing the interview with him. Say this.
Yeah. Pika had a fun question. If each of us could take the rest of us on a snowboard trip, where would you take us?
What?
Well, you're saying if we all could pick one place to go?
Yeah, but Louie, where would you take us? And
can it
Katie,
be a place I've never been?
Where would you take us?
Okay, I like this. This is a good end cap.
Yeah, an end cap. Like, let's go on a trip together. Like, this was such a fun podcast.
Yep.
Let's all go on a trip. Where would you take it? You know?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I have 2. One I've never been, though.
You're kind of Louie Vitoing the answer with 2. You got to have one.
There's 2. The reason I'll give you 2 answers. One, Baldface. I've never been. I want to go. It seems like if you have a good crew, it's like the most memorable place ever. But I've never been. I just have this built in my head. 2, I would love to take you guys back to my home mountain in Ohio because I think you guys would be able to get so creative and it'd be fun to see how you ride my small hill that I grew up riding, but how you attack the mountain and make it even better. And I think
do they have any trusty spools by chance?
They probably do. We have a trailer park at the top of the mountain. We could probably find something there.
Spots galore.
That is a Burtner honey hole.
Yeah.
That is a honey hole.
And I think everybody there would be hyped to have everybody come there and ride. But I like the creativity because you guys all look at snowboarding so differently that I think it'd be fun to go to a mountain like that where you could just do whatever you want.
Katie?
Sign me up.
Yeah, I think we'd have pretty much fun anywhere. And
don't Louie Vito this answer.
Where would
I'm going to learn
take us?
from my new best friend Louie. And but where would I like to go? I mean, personally, I really want to go to Japan. So if we could all go together,
you just stole mine.
Great.
Also, I want us to get I want us to be amongst some South American culture. Maybe we eat some hard-boiled eggs in a Argentina club together.
There's like a chicken. There's like a full chicken farm with unlimited eggs around.
I want to snowboard with you, but then let's also find some unique places to eat eggs together.
So we're going to Japan or South America?
No, we're going to South America.
Okay, we're going to South America. Okay.
Okay, I got mine. So I've done this with Burtner before, and it's a very fun experience. I would take you guys to my cabin here in Utah, and there's no cell phone service, and it runs on solar, and you got to keep yourself warm with the fire, and you just hang out in a pretty primitive structure. You get a rope. There's the rope tows going. Now the rope tows there that we were hiking back then.
Yeah,
we got a rope tow. We got a handful of rails, and it's really just about there's no cell phone service. It's about the cooking. It's about the hanging out. It's about the banter, and it's about making something out of nothing and snowboarding on like a 10-foot down rail, and it's like the time of my life when it's good. So. And you can also snowboard down if there's powder and pow surf and all that. So that's my answer.
Sick.
That's realistic.
And I want to do that again because that was so fun.
We should do that and do a podcast.
We should, yeah. The absence of light pollution.
Yeah,
that's something everyone needs to experience if you're a city dweller like me.
Austin Granger, also his cooking. We have.
Yeah.
That was no joke. I was thinking that. Can we invite him because he's really fun to snowboard with and an amazing chef?
Can we just put Granger in all of these?
Yeah, Granger he's a shoo-in. He's a shoo-in.
Okay, so Granger is implied here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would love to take you guys to Alaska, and I would love for us to stay in Girdwood at the Alyeska Prince, and it'll be snow. It's dumping. We're in the spring. There's a Nordic spa there now.
Wow.
We're hitting the Nordic spa. We're riding POW. Then when it clears, we're going to go to Tin Can and we're going to hike and build jumps 30 to 60 foot. and just chuck
That's good.
into powder landings.
Video of the year.
Can I use Ben Bogart's snowshoes off the wall?
Yeah. You grab Boya's snowshoes, and we'll be that's where I would take you guys.
I love it.
Let's make it happen.
And last but not least, we got Silk back there.
Where are we going, buddy?
Japan, because I need to go to Japan. I need a trip.
Okay, we going North Island, Main Island?
I'm not really, taking us everywhere and planning. I'm just, we just need to get there.
Okay.
All right, I like that. Keep it
someone
simple.
else can be in charge.
Keep it simple. Yeah. I like that. That's good. They got hard-boiled eggs over there too, which is important.
That's good.
Yep, I've survived there for a few weeks, so if they didn't have eggs, I wouldn't have survived.
They might be black though.
Yeah, it's true.
With like a green center.
Yeah.
Just close your eyes and just imagine whatever you want.
Great. I still say the highlight of the podcast was the conversation about hard-boiled eggs. For me, mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean that whole thing almost needs to be like animated and like brought to life. Like, like I just want to like see that. Like,
I really did almost bring some, because I know that Grandies thinks it's hilarious about the hard-boiled eggs, and then that was going to be my prop. But I knew that we were going to be here for a while, and I've kind of been missing my snack, which would have been a hard-boiled egg. So
yeah,
kind of
you should bring a GoPro with you next time you fly, and GoPro your hard-boiled egg in the bathroom experience. That's actually that's 1 million views right there.
Yeah,
no
that
problem.
is. Yeah.
All right. I don't have a flight for a while, so we got to remind me in January. But
Perfect. All right. I think we did it, guys. Thank you so much to all the sponsors, all of the Patreon members, everybody that asked the question. It's been a fun chat. And we got another podcast coming at you next Wednesday. Over and out from the bomb hole.
Peace.
Nice.
That's a wrap.